Chapter 1. Chunan, what did you do when you sneaked into my room in the middle of the night last night? If you don't explain it clearly, get out of the Chu family. Then let's just assume that our Chu family has never adopted you as an adopted son in these years. Luxurious living room, extremely luxurious decoration, leather sofa, expensive carpet, etc. All this is like a dream in Chunan's eyes. The most important thing is that there is a beautiful woman staring at him angrily. Who am I? Where am I? What's wrong with me? Chunan muttered to himself while holding his head. Chunan, don't play dumb with me. If you don't explain it clearly, Chu Lingwei, will definitely make you get out. Chu Lingwei raised her eyebrows and said impatiently, Chu Lingwei. Chunan was a little confused. After a moment of stunned silence, Chu Lingwei's face gradually turned red. You are so good, Chunan. You don't even call me eldest sister now, but you dare to call me by my name. Even if you are pretending to be stupid, you are too much. I think you really need to be disciplined. Chunan was even more confused. Eldest sister, Chu Lingwei, adopted son, isn't this the book I read yesterday? I didn't go to work and took a day off yesterday. I read a sadistic novel at night. The adopted son protagonist was framed by the real young Master Chu he all day long, causing his 5 sisters to often misunderstand him. The key is that he explained, and the sisters didn't listen, and sometimes even beat the protagonist when they got angry. He was not loved by his father and mother, just because he was an adopted son. The book seemed to write that it was today because of Chu his frame-up that Chunan was driven out of the house by his eldest sister Chu Lingwei. In the end, Chunan angrily sprayed a few hundred words of short essay because he had the same name and surname as the protagonist, and came here in the blink of an eye. Chunan had a faint bitter smile on his face. What is going on? It's really terrible to travel through time at this time. If I could come here a day earlier, I could expose the true identity of their brother and compete with Chu He for the family property. But now that things have come to this, it seems not bad to fly solo. At the same time, the memories of Chunan in this life flooded into his mind, almost filling his head. Chunan, are you listening to me? I asked you what you did when you sneaked into my room yesterday. Chu Lingwei was so angry that she was dying. This Chunan was in a daze and didn't answer. After Chunan absorbed the memory, he came to his senses and looked at Chu Lingwei. She was really as beautiful as described in the book, with a beautiful face, delicate features, fair skin, plump breasts, and those long legs that were deadly. What are you looking at? I never thought I would have a perverted brother like you. Get out of here. I don't want to see you again. Chu Lingwei's chest was heaving with anger. Chunan swallowed his saliva. What if the button of this thing breaks and bounces on my face? He noticed that Chu Lingwei's face was getting colder and colder. Helplessly, he said, I really don't understand why you don't check the surveillance. Can't you go and see what I did yourself? Because they just met, he didn't have any ill will towards Chu Lingwei, but he still complained a few words in his heart. Speechless, seeing that you were drunk, I kindly gave you sobering soup, but you mistakenly thought I was going to do something. That's it. Persecution delusion, right? But it doesn't matter. If you want me to leave, then I'll leave. Anyway, no one in this family likes me, especially you. Chunan pointed at Chu He, who was gloating at the stairs. He wore a pair of glasses, had a fair face, and looked gentle. The mockery on Chu He's face became stronger. Chunan, what did you say? Did you send him that bowl of hangover soup in the middle of the night? Chu Lingwei frowned suddenly. Chunan didn't seem to say this. Why could she hear it? Was it an auditory hallucination? She went home after the drinking party last night. She drank too much and went to bed directly. She was very thirsty in the middle of the night and wanted to drink water. When she got up, she saw the hangover soup on the bedside table. At that time, she thought He made it for him. Why did Chunan say that he made it now? Chunan was a little surprised. Chu Lingwei, is there something wrong with your ears? Can't I leave if I say so? And how did you know that the bowl of hangover soup was sent by me? TSK, your brain finally got it. Chu Lingwei frowned even deeper. Chunan, you scolded me? You? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk nonsense with you anymore. Can I leave now? Chunan interrupted her and stood up and walked out the door. No, explain it to me clearly, or you can't leave. Chu Lingwei grabbed his arm. Chunan's mouth twitched, and he swung his arm. Get away. Don't bother me. Go ask your good brother what he did. He hated Chu Lingwei a little now, and couldn't leave even if he wanted to. Chu He, who was on the stays, changed his expression and thought to himself, what's wrong with this Chunan today? It seems that he took the wrong medicine. How dare he treat the eldest sister like this? But this is also good. I guess the eldest sister will be even more angry later, and Chunan will definitely be kicked out. Chu Lingwei was shaken off, her expression was stunned, and then she angrily chased Chunan and blocked him in front. Chunan, you dare to treat me like this, and what is Xiao He doing? Are you slandering him? Explain it clearly. You are not allowed to leave. Chunan was really annoyed by her. Why does this woman have so many things? Fuck, you are really annoying. Please explain clearly, okay? Chunan laughed in anger. Pushing Chu Lingwei away, he walked towards the stays, grabbed the confused Chu He, and dragged him in front of Chu Lingwei. Come on, tell your eldest sister, who made the hangover soup. And the most important thing, why did Chu Lingwei's undergarments appear in my room? Chu He, you fucking talk to me. Chunan asked with a gloomy face. Chu He panicked. Yesterday, Chu Lingwei's undergarments was stolen and put in Chunan's room the next day. The surveillance in the corridor was not turned off at that time. On weekdays, they all trusted themselves unconditionally and would not care about Chunan's explanation at all. But now Chunan seemed to be serious. Brother Nan, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Chu looked like he was about to cry. Chunan, how can you be so rude? He is your brother. Chu Lingwei stepped forward and pulled Chu He up. Xiaohe, tell me, did you make the hangover soup? And what about the fact that my undergarments was in his room? When Chu Lingwei said this, her fair cheeks quickly turned red. As the eldest sister of this family, undergarments appeared in Chunan's room, which made her angry and ashamed. Thinking that the thing might have been, a feeling of extreme disgust surged in my heart. Chapter 2. Chunan crossed his arms and looked at Chu He with a cold face. Chu He wanted to struggle a bit. Sister, yes, I made the hangover soup. It was not made by Brother Nan at all. Chu Lingwei turned her head coldly and looked at Chunan. Chunan showed a mocking look on his face and asked again, Oh, you said you made it. So good. May I ask what kind of hangover soup did Chu Lingwei drink yesterday? And what are the ingredients and steps of the hangover soup? Tell me. If you tell me, then it will be considered as yours. Chu's face turned pale in an instant. How could he know? It is even more impossible for him to make a hangover soup. Every day he went out to play with his old friends and played games at night. How could he make something like a hangover soup? This. Chu hesitated for a long time, but couldn't say a word. Chu Lingwei looked at him and didn't know what was going on. Instantly, anger surged up. Her own brother actually lied to her now. Even for such a small matter? Is it meaningful? Chu He, why did you lie to me? It's just a hangover soup. It's not a lie, right? You disappoint me so much. Chu Lingwei's face was full of disappointment. She glanced at Chunan, who was watching the show, with an apologetic look in her eyes. Then tell me what happened to that undergarments. Why did it appear in Chunan's room? Both of you tell me again. Chu Lingwei asked again. This time her eyes revealed a cold look. Chunan shrugged indifferently. You ask him first. I want to hear how he wants to frame me and learn his words. I can use them in the future. After all, he is very good at acting. Chu Lingwei glared at Chunan, then turned to look at his brother. At this moment, Chu's brain was working frantically. He was facing two situations. Either he took the initiative to admit that he had framed me and admitted his mistakes, or he insisted that Chunan did it. But how to explain it after the matter was found out? He gritted his teeth. No, I can't admit it. If I do, my reputation in this family will be ruined. I'll just bet that she believes me. His eyes instantly turned red and he was full of tears. Sister, I didn't have it. It must have been Chunan who took it when he sent you the hangover soup last night. I didn't steal it at all. I'm innocent. Chu cried with snot and tears. Chu Lingwei looked at Chu Nan fiercely and asked, "Is that the case? He came to steal it under the name of sending me the hangover soup." She couldn't say it. It was too shameful. Chu Nan sneered and laughed. "Haha, you believe everything he says, right? You don't believe it after spending more than 10 years together. But you believe a brother who has just been found and has no knowledge, right?" Chu Lingwei's expression froze. There was nothing wrong with what Chu Nan said. Why would she blindly believe his words? After spending more than 10 years together, can't you be better than someone who has just come here? But she insisted on her own opinion and said stubbornly, "Then you should show evidence to prove that it was not you who took it. Also, Xiao just lacks education. I believe he can change for the better." Chu Nan shrugged and said indifferently, "Okay, follow me." Chu Lingwei followed him, but Chu Yi hesitated and seemed a little guilty. She frowned and had a bad feeling in her heart. She pulled Chu Yi upstairs with him and came to Chu Nan's room. Chu Lingwei was shocked by the small room in front of her. "Is this your room? Why is it so small?" Chu Lingwei looked at Chu Nan in disbelief. "Haha, what's the point of you saying this now? I have said more than once that I want to change rooms. Have you ever cared?" Chu Nan still sneered. Chu Lingwei felt uncomfortable for no reason, as if she was pinched by a pair of big hands. It is hard to imagine how Chu Nan, who is 1.8 meters tall, can live in such a small room. "Will you stop talking if we don't care? You can tell me about it." Chu Lingwei struggled to ask. She wanted to know who was to blame for making Chu Nan live in such a small room. "Ha ha ha, so funny. Do you remember last winter? I couldn't sleep because of the cold, so I went out to exercise in the middle of the night to warm up my body. You saw me, and you asked me why I didn't sleep in the middle of the night. I told you about the problem with my room. Do you remember how you reacted?" Chu Nan asked. Chu Lingwei was stunned, and her memory went back to the New Year before the Lunar New Year. That night, she came home late and saw Chu Nan running back and forth in the backyard. At that time, she thought Chu Nan was crazy. What was he doing in the middle of the night in winter? After Chu Nan explained the reason, she didn't care and said a few perfunctory words, saying that she would solve it for you tomorrow. But she only remembered it now. At this moment, she felt guilty. Subconsciously thought that the problem with Chu Nan's room was hers. It was caused by her negligence that caused Chu Nan to stay in such a room every day. The area of this room is about 10 square meters, which is similar to the utility room, and the area is slightly larger than the toilet. A 15-meter-long bed is placed. She remembered that this was the bed that Chu Nan slept in when he was a child. Has it not been changed yet? There is no wardrobe, a desk, and a window. These are all the things in the room. She felt bitter and uncomfortable. It was hard to imagine how Chu Nan lived in this room. "Forget it. Let's not talk about this. I'm used to it," Chu Nan said casually, and then looked at Chu Yi again. Chu's heart skipped a beat. "It's coming. Chu Yi, I'll give you one last chance. Do you want to admit it yourself, or do you want me to find you out?" Chu's face was extremely bad. "I didn't do it. I want to see how you can produce evidence. Big sister, can you please stop letting Brother Nan slander me?" He looked at Chu Lingwei with pleading eyes, but Chu Lingwei hesitated for a moment and stopped looking at him. She must find out what's going on. "Well, you're really stubborn." Chu Nan shook his head helplessly, and then asked, "Chu Lingwei, let me ask you, did you take a shower on the second floor yesterday?" Chu Lingwei nodded. After drinking the hangover soup yesterday, she took a shower because she had misophobia and the smell of food and alcohol made her feel uncomfortable. Chu Nan asked again, "Well, let me ask you again. Did you say that you didn't let me use that bathroom?" Chu Lingwei's bad premonition became stronger and stronger, and she nodded. As everyone grew up, Chu Nan was not allowed to take a bath in that bathroom because of the gender difference, but Chu Yi was an exception. Chu Nan glanced at Chu Yi, and the way he looked like he had eaten shit was really funny. He walked to the bed, lifted the quilt and searched carefully, and when he finally groped under the pillow, his hand suddenly stopped. He smiled, grabbed the things inside and slowly took them out, and Chu Lingwei's delicate face showed anger and shame. Chapter 3. Chu Nan was holding the pink lace undergarments that she had changed yesterday. After the reminder just now, She knew that Chunan had no chance. Then it was only Chu-hee. Chu's face was extremely pale, but he still wanted to defend himself. This must be what you sneaked into the toilet yesterday. After saying this, he immediately wanted to slap himself twice. Pa! He didn't slap himself, but someone else did it for him. Chu Lingwei slapped him in the face fiercely, and his face was swollen instantly. Chu fell into a daze, touched his cheek, and was a little unbelievable. Big sister, you hit me. After he returned to the Chu family, Chu Lingwei was extremely good to him. Even if he made a small mistake, he would not be punished, and he would teach him in a gentle voice. Pervert! Beast! Just now you said Chunan stole it from my room. Now you say he stole it from the toilet. You know best whether he stole it or not. Big sister, you have to believe me. It really wasn't me who stole it. Chu still wanted to struggle. Fuck, you are really shameless. I went back to my room after delivering the hangover soup yesterday. How could I steal it? You went in and out of that toilet this morning, and I didn't have a chance to go in. Chu Lingwei, go check the surveillance yourself to see if I have been in your toilet from beginning to end. Look again to see if Chu-hee has entered my room this morning. Isn't it clear? Such a simple matter has been made so complicated by you, Chu Lingwei. I really don't know if such a big Chu group will be bankrupted by you if it is handed over to you. Chu Nan's words pierced Chu Lingwei's heart like a knife, making her feel extremely uncomfortable. How could her brother change overnight? He used to listen to her and never contradict her or swear. Always be careful in doing things, afraid of making her unhappy. She was stunned again. Yeah, why does he have to be careful in everything? Is this family too harsh on him? What is this Chu Lingwei doing? She is not happy after a few words. She used to say sarcastic things to me. Why can't she do it when I say something? Why did this voice appear again? This voice seems a bit like Chunan, but Chunan didn't open his mouth to speak. Could it be? This is the voice in his heart. But he is so right. Chu Lingwei felt even more uncomfortable. She thought about how she had to ridicule Chunan when she saw him since she was a child, no matter whether he did something wrong or right. Even if he did something right, she would say a few words to prevent him from being arrogant. She would always put on airs and have a cold face towards him. But she never did this to other family members. When she treated her sisters, she was always the most gentle and tolerant. She doted on Chu-hee even more. During the time when he came back, she wanted to give Chu-hee everything she could. But why was she like this to Chunan? She didn't understand. She felt that she seemed to have a real problem. Chunan no longer cared about what she was thinking and casually glanced at the undergarments in his hand. At this moment, his expression was extremely wonderful. Fuck! Chu Lingwei. Hello, brother. You are really good. Take a look for yourself. Chunan threw the undergarments in his hand to Chu Lingwei. This bitch must be framing me. Chu-hee, you are so awesome. You really do whatever it takes to get me out. Well, I seem to have said one thing wrong. While framing me, you can also solve your unique habit, right? Chu-hee looked ashen and collapsed to the ground. He was tired. Destroy the world. Ah. Oh. Chu Lingwei was stunned for a moment and picked it up. Suddenly, there was a sharp explosion. She threw undergarments on Chu-hee's face in anger and cursed. Beast! You are a beast. My Chu family actually gave birth to a demon like you. Actually. Pa! She slapped him. Not satisfied with the anger, another slap came. What's going on? How can you make such a fuss? The voice of Chu Tianqi, the head of the Chu family, suddenly came from outside the door, full of anger and majesty. Chu Tianqi, who was originally comfortable in the room after breakfast and was about to take a nap, was attracted by the noise coming from this side. He pushed the door open and walked in, and was stunned in an instant. He saw his good son Chu-hee, whom he had always loved, kneeling on the ground. On his originally fair face, there was a red slap mark, so clear and conspicuous that he was slapped at a glance. Son, you were slapped by someone. Hit. Did this little bastard hit you? I'll teach him a lesson for you. Chu Tianqi was instantly furious, his eyes wide open, and he was about to rush up and slap Chunan's face. Dad, I hit him. Don't blame Chunan. It was Chuhi who stole and framed Chunan. Chu Lingwei immediately stood between the two of them, eagerly defending. Who? What's going on? Chu Qianqui frowned, looked at his son on the ground with a puzzled look, and questioned in his tone. Pa. What a Chu family head. He came up and wanted to slap me without knowing the truth. Chu Nan clapped his hands while showing an extremely sarcastic expression on his face, as if he was mocking Chu Qianqui's recklessness and injustice. I didn't offend anyone. I am the victim. You are Chu Qianqui. You will take it out on me when you do something wrong. Chu Lingwei heard this voice again, and her heart felt uncomfortable again as if it was stabbed by a needle. Did Dad beat Chu Nan often before? Don't you remember clearly that Chu Nan was beaten every time he made a mistake? But thinking about what happened today, it seems that I can't say it too absolutely. Chu Nan, how can you talk to me? Even if I really want to beat you, what can you do? Chu Qianqui glared, and his angry look seemed to want to eat Chu Nan alive. I provide you with food and drink, and you actually talk to me like this. I will beat you to death, you little bastard. Chu Qianqui said, pushing Chu Lingwei away roughly, raising his big palm, and walked forward aggressively. Go ahead and beat you. This is just a reason for me to beat you up. What about the Chu family? Don't wait. Chu Lingwei's heart trembled suddenly, and she felt a little flustered for no reason. She felt that if she didn't do something, she might really lose a family member forever. Dad, if you want to beat me, beat me. I beat Xiaohe. And as for Chu Nan's words being a bit harsh, it was because Chuhi framed him today, and he must be in a bad mood, so just forgive him. Holding Chu Tianqui's hand tightly, Chu Lingwei said anxiously. At the same time, she also desperately winked at Chu Nan. Chu Tianqui's expression eased a little. After hearing his daughter's words, his anger was half gone, but he still stubbornly insisted on hearing Chu Nan's apology. Chu Nan frowned tightly. What on earth is Chu Lingwei trying to do? I can just take this opportunity to leave. Damn, this Chu family is really not a place for people to stay. What the hell are you winking at? Do you really think I will just go down the stairs? I won't. Chapter 4. Old thing. I gave you face, didn't I? Come on, hit me. Chu Nan was furious, pointing his finger at his face, looking at Chu Qianqui provocatively. His action made the three of them all look stunned, and for a moment they were shocked by Chu Nan's sudden crazy behavior. Chuhi was the first to react. Hiding behind, he showed ecstasy on his face and was secretly proud in his heart. Now my ugly deeds can be temporarily suppressed, and I can see Chu Nan being beaten. Nice. Chu Lingwei also came back to her senses. Her expression changed and she shouted, Chu Nan, how did you talk to Dad? Apologize quickly. She was afraid that Chu Nan would really do something impulsive in a fit of anger and be driven out by his father in the end. Rebellious son, what did you call me? Chu Qianqui asked, pointing at himself in disbelief. What happened to his adopted son today? Not only did he talk back to him, but he also called him an old thing. Chu Nan was fully expecting Chu Tianqui to be the first to speak, but he didn't expect Chu Lingwei, who had just spoken for him, to suddenly stand on their side. In an instant, he was furious, pointed at Chu Tianqui's nose and began to curse. Calling you an old thing. What's wrong? What can I do if I call you that? Apologize. I'm not apologizing. It's obviously me who was wronged. I didn't do anything wrong, and I didn't hit anyone. Why did you hit me as soon as I entered the door? I think I really gave you too much face. You also provide me with food and drink? Bah! Chu Tianqui, I'm telling you, the textbook fees for elementary and junior high school are all given by charities. I paid for the tuition and living expenses for high school and college myself. Summer vacation and diligence can be earned. Why do you let me eat for me? I eat her. With a scream, the whole person fell directly to the ground, and he was embarrassed. Chu Lingwei and Chu, his pupils trembled, and they looked at Chu Nan's madness in disbelief. Chu Nan felt unsatisfied, and kicked him in the stomach again, causing Chu Tianqui's old face to wrinkle in pain. I have only had so many clothes since I was a child. When I was a child, I could only wear the clothes that Chu Lingwei and her family had left over. When I went to school, I only had school uniforms. These clothes were bought by me with my own money. Is your Chu family so short of money? Why did you bring me here if you are so short of money? Ah, speak. Look at what Chu he is wearing. You have bought him a lot of things in the past year since he came back, right? Watches worth hundreds of thousands, clothes worth tens of thousands, and I can only wear some clothes worth more than 10 yuan. I bought them myself. What did your Chu family give me? He pointed angrily at the clothes on the bed. There was not even a wardrobe in this room. Why are you so partial to me and bring me back? Ah, does your Chu family really need a substitute? You shouldn't have taken me away from the orphanage in the first place. My quality of life in the orphanage is better than in the Chu family. Chu Tianqui's expression became stunned. And you, Chu Lingwei, you are not a good person either. You always have a stern face, as if the whole world owes you money. You must scold me when you see me. How did I offend you? Last month you said that I stole your necklace. Well, why did I steal your necklace? Do you have evidence? Chunan roared with wide eyes. Money? I am very short of money. I am a well-educated person after all, and I don't bother to do such a thing. I can make money with my own hands. The only one who can do such a thing is your good brother Chu he behind you. Chunan's voice became louder and louder, and his anger was like a volcano about to erupt. Fuck, you just believed Chu his words, right? Chunan's eyes shot at Chu Lingwei like a sharp sword. Chu Lingwei shuddered, and a chill rushed to her forehead. That necklace is obviously his, sell it and go pick up girls. Chunan clenched his fists tightly, his knuckles turned white. If you don't believe me, I'm used to all the accusations I've received in the past year since Chu he came back. I'm really fed up with your Chu family. After hearing this, Chu Lingwei broke out in a cold sweat. After Chunan finished speaking, he sat down heavily on the bed like a deflated ball, breathing heavily and laughing at himself. Shit, I'm tired of scolding myself. He subconsciously touched his pocket, TSK. He walked towards Chu Tianqi with an unhappy face. What are you going to do? Chu Tianqi moved back twice in fear, his face full of fear. Chunan bent down, glanced at Chu Tianqui's face with contempt, and reached out to take out a pack of cigarettes from his bulging pocket. He took out a cigarette, lit it, took a deep puff, and instantly felt dizzy. Hiss, cough, cough, cough. Chunan then realized that this body had never smoked and had no tolerance to smoke. Chu He, who had been silent from beginning to end, now opened his mouth so wide that at least an egg could fit in it. Chu Lingwei took a long time to come back to her senses, and she lowered her head guiltily. Yes, she didn't listen to Chunan's explanation at all that time, and slapped him twice directly, and in the end he was beaten by Chu Tianqi. Her eyes noticed Chunan's mobile phone and the faded clothes on the bed. The mobile phone was worn out and had obvious cracks on it. If he really stole the necklace, why didn't he buy himself a better mobile phone? Why didn't he change into good clothes? That necklace is worth hundreds of thousands. The guilt on her face became stronger, and a strong sense of guilt surged like a tide. His lips moved twice, and he slowly uttered a few words. I'm sorry, Chunan. I misunderstood you before. I apologize to you. Hiss. Who? Don't. I can't bear it. Chunan exhaled a puff of smoke and refused without hesitation. Suddenly, Chu Lingwei's eyes were red, and tears burst out like a flood. Chunan, you little beast. You. Chu Tianqi covered his chest, his face was pale, and he was a little breathless. Hu Chunan, get out of the Chu family today. There's no one like you in my Chu family. You even dare to hit and scold me. I really raised an ungrateful person. Chu Tianqi was furious, and his voice was trembling. Chu Lingwei quickly grabbed Chu Tianqui's arm and shook her head, saying, Dad, you can't kick Chunan out. He's your son. We're all family. How can you kick him out? What son? He's just an adopted son. At best, he's a rebellious son. Chu Tianqi shook off his daughter's hand. Chapter 5. Chunan would not care about Chu Lingwei's pleas. TSK. Old man, stop talking about raising me. Chunan, can you please stop talking? Chu Lingwei looked at Chu Nan. I'm telling you, I'm leaving today. I did eat at your house when I was a kid. You brought me home when I was 3, and I started doing odd jobs when I was 13, for a total of 10 years. Based on the standard food allowance of 50 yuan a day, the total is 1800,000, plus miscellaneous expenses. I'll give you 200,000. Add some leftovers, and you'll get 50,000. And accommodation fees, 1,000 a month, a total of 150,000. A total of 400,000. I will pay you back this money slowly. I can write you an IOU. Don't worry. This money is absolutely clean. As soon as these words came out, the 3 people in the room were stunned, especially Chu He, who was so excited that he almost jumped up. Is Chu Nan finally leaving? You should be serious this time, right? You little beast, get out of here. You'd better do what you say. Chu Tianqi was so angry that his face turned red and his neck was thick, and veins on his forehead bulged. Chu Lingwei was even more anxious when she saw Chu Nan's attitude was so firm. She was more determined not to let Chu Nan go. Chu Nan, you can't leave. I admit that the Chu family owes you all these years. We will make it up to you. Don't leave, okay? Sister, I will definitely not be like before. Chu Lingwei's voice was crying, and her eyes were full of pleading. Dad, you should also say less. Chu Nan was really wronged and lost his temper today. You. Shut up. You are speaking for him, so get out of the Chu family. Chu Tianqi was so angry that he lost his mind. The angry roar echoed in the room. Rebellion. Really rebellion. A mere adopted son of the Chu family insulted him in front of his family, kicked him, and wanted to set up his own business. Is he going to devour his master? Dad, how can you say that? I'm doing this for everyone's good. Chu Lingwei looked at him in disbelief, tears welling up in her eyes. Sister, don't try to persuade him. Chu Nan went too far today. He not only insulted Dad, but also beat him. This is really too much. He deserved to be kicked out of the house. Chu He added fuel to the fire and fanned the flames. Pa! Chu Lingwei saw Chu He still holding her undergarment in his hand, and she exploded instantly and slapped him again. Chu Lingwei, you dare to hit your brother. Are you going to rebel too? Chu Tianqi stood between the two of them with a distressed look, glaring at them. Dad! Chu he stole my undergarment. He did that kind of thing. Shouldn't he be beaten? Chu Lingwei questioned angrily, her voice trembling. Why do you beat Chu Nan for a little mistake, or no mistake? Why shouldn't Xiao He be beaten for such a big principled mistake? Chu Lingwei was emotional, tears kept flowing down. Look for yourself. Chu Lingwei snatched the thing in his hand and held it in front of Chu Tianqi. Chu Tianqi was speechless, and he took a closer look, and it was true. At a glance, he knew that the underwear had been used for something. Who knows who did this? His eyes drifted to Chu Nan. Who are you looking at, old Biden? There are witnesses and evidence, and you still want to throw dirty water on me. I'm not Chu He, the lecherous demon, and I won't do such a dirty thing. Chu Nan would not indulge him, and he cursed directly. You little bastard. I have to beat you up today to vent my anger. Chu Tianqui's eyes were red with anger, and he pulled out his belt with trembling hands, ready to fight. Come on, old Biden, let's see who can beat the other today. I tell you, I'm not afraid of you. Chu Nan stomped out the cigarette butt, stood up and stretched his muscles, looking fearless. Chu Lingwei saw the two people rolling up their sleeves and about to fight, and shouted angrily. Enough! Stop making trouble. Isn't it embarrassing enough? Chu Tianqui's face sank instantly. Chu Lingwei, who told you to talk to me like this? What? You still want to help this little bastard? Chu Tianqi was really about to die of anger. Chu Lingwei explained, Dad, I didn't. Chu Nan, can you two calm down? We are all family. Why can't we sit down and talk? But Chu Nan was not happy and quickly refused. No, I just want to leave this house as soon as possible. I really can't stay here. He didn't want to reconcile. Once he left the Chu family, he would be free to fly in the sky and fish in the sea. Look, Chu Lingwei, you still want to speak for this little beast. I think you also want to be kicked out together, right? Chu Tianqi was so angry that his whole body was shaking. Dad! Chu Nan, can't you talk it out nicely? Is it fun to make such a fuss? Chu Lingwei's tears fell down, and her voice became hoarse. Chui looked at Chu Lingwei angrily. Chu Nan was about to leave, but she was still here to make trouble. Dad, I support you. Chu Nan must leave. He just graduated from high school and went to college and dared to talk back to you. He also said he wanted to fucking kill you. If you don't kick him out, where is the dignity of dad? Wouldn't that make my son shit on my head? Chu's ability to fan the flames is unique. Chu Tianqi agreed with 2 sentences. Chu Lingwei, look at your brother, always speaking for me, and look at you, always speaking for Chu Nan. Which side are you on? Chu Lingwei shook her head and said in a tearful voice, I am not on that side. I just want you to live in harmony. Miss Chu, I'm not interested in your hypocritical feelings now. I just want to get out of the Chu family and leave this disgusting place as soon as possible. Watch me. In order to express his determination, Chu Nan picked up the photo frame on the desk, took out the family photo inside, and tore it into countless pieces in front of everyone. Chu Lingwei's heart seemed to be pinched hard by someone. She was so heartbroken that she couldn't breathe. Seeing the family in the photo turned into pieces in Chu Nan's hands, her chest was blocked. She vaguely remembered how bright Chu Nan's smile was when he got this family photo. She couldn't stop her tears, and she choked and said, Chu Nan, you don't do this, okay? I will be good to you in the future. Thank you. But I don't need this kind of false family affection anymore. This is torture for me. Do you understand, Miss Chu? Chu Nan narrowed his eyes and lit another cigarette. In the smoke, his expression became more resolute. You can only talk but not do. When you brought me back to the Chu family, you treated me well for a while. What happened in the end? Haha. You say nice things now, but you will forget them completely the next day. Chu Nan suddenly laughed, and his laughter was full of ridicule and sarcasm. Chapter 6. Okay. Since you want to leave so badly, I'll grant you your wish. Chu Tianqi stood up angrily, pointing at the door. Chu Nan stood up and stuffed his few clothes into his school bag in a few seconds. There were also books for school. Finally, he tore off a piece of paper from the exercise book and wrote down an IOU for a total of 400,000 yuan. Chu Tianqi looked at Chu Nan's actions coldly without saying a word. The two signed their names, and Chu Tianqi, expressionless, stuffed the IOU into his arms. Chu Lingwei burst into tears. She went forward and hugged Chu Nan's back, crying, Wu Chu Nan, it was my eldest sister who made a mistake before. Please don't leave. Okay? Don't say angry words anymore, okay? How will you live if you leave the Chu family? Chu Tianqi saw this scene and a stream of blood rushed to his head, almost making him black out. Chu Lingwei, I warn you, if you say anything to keep Chu Nan, you will get out with him. Do you hear me? Chu Tianqi roared. Haha. Did you hear me, Chu Lingwei? Why don't you get out? Otherwise you will be kicked out yourself. You don't want to lose your high status, do you? You are the president of the famous Chu group. Chu Nan pulled away the two arms around his waist, his voice calm, without a trace of emotion. Woo-woo, Dad, why are you so heartless? Chu Nan is also your son? Why do you have to favor one over the other? Chu Lingwei squatted on the ground and covered her face and cried. Aha! Chu Lingwei, aren't you ashamed to say this? Chu Nan added a knife at the right time. Wu Gao. The crying stopped abruptly, and then it became louder. Yeah, I used to treat Chu Nan the same way. What right do I have to say this? Chu Nan didn't care and left the second floor with a few people without saying a word. Walking to the door of the living room on the first floor. Little beast, get out of here quickly. I don't want to see you for a second. Chu Tianqi pointed at the door and said coldly to Chu Nan. Aha, thank you, Mr. Chu, for condescending to see me off. Bye. Chu Nan didn't even look at him and walked out directly. Chu Nan, take this bank card. Big sister can only temporarily. At this time, Chu Lingwei grabbed Chu Nan who was walking out, took out a bank card and handed it to him. But Chu Tianqi exploded directly. He snatched the card away, and he was so angry that he broke the bank card into 2 pieces with a force in his hand. Chu Lingwei, I warn you, he is not a member of my Chu family now. If he is not a member of my Chu family, he is not qualified to use my Chu family's money. Chu Tianqi pointed at Chunan and roared at Chu Lingwei. Chunan spread his hands and said innocently, "You said it as if you gave me money. Ridiculous." Woo. Chu Lingwei felt that this family was really cold at this moment. If she did something wrong, would she be treated like this by her father? Chunan, he is just a child. How can you be so heartless? Chu Lingwei squatted on the ground and wiped her tears with both hands. Chu Tianqi heard such words again, and the blood rushed to his head. He walked up and grabbed Chu Lingwei's collar and pulled her up. "Pa!" Chu Tianqi slapped her in the face without hesitation. Chu Lingwei stopped crying and looked at her father with a dull look in her eyes. After Chu Tianqi slapped her, his rationality temporarily took over his mind. He regretted it a little. This was his proudest daughter. He retired behind the scenes due to his poor health. She was the one who managed the group. Without her, he wouldn't have such a comfortable life now. Chui opened his mouth wide, shocked. He even had an absurd idea in his mind, wanting to leave this home with Chunan. This father was too cold-blooded. Would a normal father beat a daughter who hadn't made any mistakes? This scene happened so quickly that even Chunan, who was watching the show, was dumbfounded. Fuck! How could Chu Tianqi, the old man, do this? She is your daughter. How could he beat her like this? Oh, besides, she didn't say anything wrong. It's really crazy. I'd better run away from this cold home to avoid dying again. Chu Lingwei's expression changed and she looked at Chunan fiercely, her eyes full of shock and horror. What does he mean? What does dying again mean? He died once. What does this mean? Why can I hear this strange voice? The voice sounds a bit like Chunan's inner voice. But if it is his inner voice, what he just said would not lie to me. Then he died once. She was a little afraid to think about it. She wondered if Chunan had committed suicide, or something else that it was like a rebirth in a movie or TV series. It was all too weird. But what I said in my heart was right. What happened to Dad? Why did he hit me? What did I do wrong? I just wanted to ease the relationship between us. Ling Wei. Chu Tianqi let go of her collar and shouted a little guilty. But when the words came to his lips, he couldn't say the apology. Chu Lingwei fell to the ground. She touched her face that was a little hot from being slapped, and her expression returned to calm. Seeing that her father had no intention of apologizing, she raised a mocking arc at the corner of her mouth. Dad, I'm fine. But have you ever thought that what I said was absolutely right? How old is Chunan? How can he live without the Chu family? You are so heartless. He has done nothing wrong. Why do you always beat him? You always beat him without knowing the truth. What was the point of bringing him home? Is it really just to heal the wound of losing a child? Chu Lingwei's calm tone turned into excitement. She really didn't want to lose Chunan, a brother who made her feel guilty. Even if they were not biological children, they had feelings for each other after so many years, even if she had treated him badly in the past. As long as she could keep Chunan now, she would double the compensation in the future. Chu Tianqi began to feel dizzy again because of what she said. This was the first time he was so angry in these years. He was going crazy. Being beaten and scolded by the child he had raised for many years. It would be fine if it was Chu he could still give the other party a way out. The key is Chunan, the little beast. He is just an adopted son, a dispensable existence to the Chu family. But his most proud daughter actually kept helping him, and even said he was heartless. Okay. Chu Lingwei, you also get out. I am heartless, right? I will show you how heartless I am. Chu Tianqi roared with red eyes. Who? Dad, what did you just say? Chu Lingwei thought she was hallucinating. Her father seemed to tell her to get out. What do you mean? Were you driven away together with Chunan? I said, you also get out. Chapter 7. Dad, you. Chu Lingwei really couldn't believe that her father would say such a thing. She was completely stunned. Chui was also panicked. He quickly grabbed Chu Tianqui's arm and persuaded him. Dad, eldest sister can't leave. It's better for Chu Nan to leave. Eldest sister said these words because she was deceived by Chu Nan. This cheap father is so stupid. How can he drive Chu Lingwei out? The other sisters are not interested in the group. How long can she last without the Chu group? Relying on you, an old man. What? You also think your sister is right? I am heartless. Chu Tianqi glared at his good son. Chu He immediately wilted. He didn't dare to go against Chu Tianqi, especially at this time. Chu Tianqi was angry and might vent his anger on him. Fuck, is this old thing really fake? The daughter who has been raised for more than 20 years just said no? Is his brain broken? Even if it was just an angry remark, it's too much, right? This Chu Lingwei is really miserable. Chu Lingwei has been working diligently for the Chu family. She was kicked out for saying a few good words for me. I'd better help her. After all, she has been deceived by Chu He. She is a little stupid, but her heart is not bad. After hearing the voice in her heart, Chu Lingwei suddenly felt that this home was really strange, so strange that she wanted to escape. This brother who was about to be kicked out wanted to speak for her, but her own brother behind her just watched. Am I not good to him? I didn't buy him what he wanted. Except for things that touched the bottom line, I was almost good to him from the bottom of my heart, even to the point of blindness. At this moment, she really wanted to leave this home. It was too cold. Chu Nan tried to dissuade him. Chu Tianqi, you've really gone too far. What did Chu Lingwei say wrong? You're going to kick her out just for saying a few words for me. I think you really have Alzheimer's disease. Think about how the Chu group will operate without Chu Lingwei. You don't want your Chu family to be swallowed up by the Jiu family, do you? The Jiu family is the leading group in the next city, and they have been at odds with each other since the establishment of the Chu group. The two sides have been fighting for decades, but there has been no winner. Chu Lingwei sat on the ground wiping her tears, feeling extremely relieved. Even though she had treated him badly before, this brother still thought about her. Compared with her biological brother Chu he was a world apart. Today, she saw the true face of this biological brother. He was vicious, insidious, a sex maniac, and indifferent. These were all labels behind his back. She regretted why she didn't find out earlier, so that she could be better to this brother who really cared about her. But it's too late now. Chu Nan has completely lost hope for the Chu family, and he seems to have died once before, so he will definitely not return to the Chu family. You rebellious son, who do you think you are? It's not your turn to tell me what to do. I tell you, even without Chu Lingwei, there is still Xiua. As long as I train him for a while, he will definitely be able to make the Chu group flourish. The market value will exceed 10 billion. Chu Tianqi patted Chu's shoulder and said confidently to Chu Lingwei and Chu Nan, damn. So this is your plan, old man? So you can take this opportunity to kick Chu Lingwei out of the Chu group and make things easier for Chu He, right? Chu Nan really felt that Chu Lingwei was not worth it because of his words. Putting aside the fact that Chu Lingwei was not good to him, for her alone, the lethality of her father's words can be imagined. After working diligently to create so much value for the Chu group, he was kicked out of the house in the end. Chu could no longer suppress his surprise at this moment. He shook Chu Tianqui's arm excitedly and asked, Dad, are you serious? Are you really going to let me manage the group? Chu Tianqi stroked his son's head and said proudly, Of course, Xiaohe, you are my son. I believe your ability will definitely not be worse than Chu Lingwei. Chu Lingwei was about to collapse. Chu Tianqui's words hit her deeply, and Chu Nan's voice also mercilessly tore open Chu Tianqui's true face. She stood up, wiped the tears from her face, walked to Chu Nan's side and said, Xiao Nan, let's go. Since Dad wants me to leave and wants Xiaohe to manage the group, I will do as he wishes. Her expression was extremely lonely and her eyes were dim. Her heart was really hurt by Chu Tianqui's words. My father actually treated her like this. After graduating with a master's degree at the age of 25, I joined the Chu group and started as a project manager. In the time I was the president, the market value of the Chu group increased by more than 1/3. It created at least 1.5 billion in value for the Chu group. But my father, Chu Tianqi, saw his daughter's performance, and his heart trembled suddenly, and he felt as if he was about to lose something. But he couldn't say anything to keep her, and his strong character for many years made him stubborn and obstinate. Okay, Chu Lingwei, you're really good. I tell you, you still have a choice now. If you roll over now, I can still pretend that you didn't say anything and didn't do anything just now. But if you still want to leave, you will never come back, and I will stop your card. I want to see how you beg me to let you go home later. Chu Tianqui's eyebrows twisted into a Sichuan character, and his eyes looked at his daughter sharply. Fuck, can this old bitch speak a little better? Who will give in to you if you speak like this? Not to mention Chu Lingwei, who has an equally strong personality. If you just say a few soft words, saying that it was Dad's fault, your daughter will definitely apologize to you. Chunan really doesn't understand what Chu Tianqui's brain is like. Can this kind of brain really create a Chu-style group with a market value of nearly 10 billion? Did Chu Tianqui's competitors get polio back then? Chu Lingwei wanted to say she was leaving immediately, but she hesitated when she heard Chu Nan's voice. Dad must want to make me give in, but he's just being stubborn. What should I do? Her face showed a tangled look. She was strong by nature. She was tempered step by step in the business world. Facing so many employees every day, she must always show her dominance, seriousness, and indifference. Only in this way will the employees be afraid of her and her orders will be well executed. While Chu Lingwei was still hesitating, Chu Tianqi was about to explode. Okay, Chu Lingwei, you still want to consider it, right? You don't have to think about it anymore. Get out of the Chu family now. Immediately. Chapter 8. Chu Tianqui's roar even reached the neighbor's house next door. The neighbor uncle looked at the newspaper in his hand, shook his head and sighed. Chu Lingwei was stunned by the roar, and then the tangled look on her face disappeared and turned into anger. Dad, you are really too much. After saying that, she pulled Chu Nan's arm and walked out. Damn, Chu Tianqi, you are such a big idiot. I really want to open your brain to see what you are like. Don't you see that your daughter is about to bow to you? But you are so impatient. You are pushing your daughter to a dead end. You are not the kind of person who has a strong desire for control. Chu Nan was pulled out with tears in his eyes. Forget it. Let's go our separate ways at that time. What kind of high-paying job can Chu Lingwei find with her ability? I don't have much money on me. It's hard to support myself. What should I do with this extra burden? Evil girl, what can you do if I stop your card? Chu Tianqi wanted to threaten her with money, but Chu Lingwei just paused and continued to walk out, which made him even angrier. Get out. I don't have a daughter like you. I'm so angry. Hoo. Chu Tianqi saw that they had disappeared at the gate. He didn't expect that they would actually leave like that. He was so angry that his heart ached. Dad, how are you? Chui hurriedly stroked his back with his hand to help him calm down. Chui was already laughing in his heart. He didn't expect that he would turn today's dead end around and take over the Chu group all at once. Who? Xiaohe is still good. I didn't love you in vain. Unlike those two ungrateful people, they left without even looking back. Chu Tianqi said angrily, but he felt even more uncomfortable in his heart. Did I go too far? But he immediately rejected this idea. They all disobeyed him. Chu Nan was his adopted son. He could pretend not to care if he was beaten or scolded. At most, he could just kick him out of the house. But Chu Lingwei actually helped Chu Nan, the little beast, from beginning to end. He couldn't accept this at all, even if I was a little wrong. So what? As my daughter, can't you lower your head and admit your mistakes? HMPH. I'll ask the finance department to suspend Chu Lingwei's and Chu Nan's cards now. I want to see how they live. Will they come to beg me to let them go home? HMPH. Chu Tianqi snorted coldly and made a call. When the call was connected, Chu Tianqi immediately ordered, Hello, Xiao Li, suspend Chu Lingwei and Chu Nan's cards now. Xiao Li's name is Li Qiangdong, 35 years old. He was the last batch of people who followed Chu Tianqi to fight, and he was considered half an old man. Mr. Chu, do you want to stop the cards of Mr. Chu and Chunan? Li Qiangdong frowned and confirmed again. That's right. Those two people are no longer members of the Chu family, so the Chu family's money will naturally not be given to them. Chu Tianqi hesitated for a moment, but still said it. Let Chu Lingwei go. Anyway, there is Chu He. Li Qiangdong was a little confused. How come Mr. Chu and Chunan are no longer members of the Chu family? What happened? Did they quarrel and were driven away? He couldn't help but persuade. Mr. Chu, why don't you think about it again? Miss Chu and Chunan are gone now, and they can't move without money. Chu Tianqi was angry again. Why did even a financial manager of his own group disobey him? What's wrong with you? You're talking so much nonsense. Just stop when I tell you to. Seeing this, Li Qiangdong sighed silently and replied, Okay, Mr. Chu, I said the wrong thing just now. I'll stop their cards immediately. Mr. Chu, Chunan doesn't have a card. Li Qiangdong said strangely after checking for a long time. Who? What do you mean? He doesn't have a card. Chu Tianqi frowned. If he doesn't have a card, doesn't that mean he has no money? Then how does he live? Chu Tianqi asked in confusion. Chu He said weakly, Dad, you forgot that Chunan just said that he earned it all by working outside. Chu Tianqi was stunned, and then angrily scolded. Why didn't this rebellious son tell his family that he had no money? Why did he go out to work? Can't my Chu family afford to support him? He is slapping me, Chu Tianqi, in the face. I think this little beast left the Chu family with a premeditated plan. He must have gone out to work for today. Chu He quickly shut up. Mr. Chu, Miss Chu's card has been suspended. Do you have any instructions? Li Qiangdong asked respectfully, but he was extremely disdainful in his heart. What kind of person are you? Don't you know whether your son has money? Why are you pretending here? Hypocrisy. Chu Tianqi hung up the phone directly. Chu Lingwei angrily pulled Chunan out of the luxurious villa area. Then she was a little lost, dragging Chunan to walk aimlessly on the street. Chunan asked speechlessly, I said, Chu Lingwei, where are you taking me? She shook her head and said nothing. Chunan was even more depressed, and grabbed the absent-minded Chu Lingwei and said, I said, Chu Lingwei, Mr. Chu, you'd better not follow me, or go home and admit your mistake to your father. Then everything will be fine, right? Do you really want to suffer with me? Chu Lingwei looked around blankly, and then stared at Chunan in front of her in a daze. Her thoughts just now were pulled to Chu Tianqui's every strong attitude towards her since she was sensible. She had no hobbies of her own since she was a child, so she could only immerse herself in learning every day. Chu Tianqi has been cultivating various business, finance, and corporate management knowledge since she was a child. But she also wanted to learn music with her second sister, write novels with her third sister, learn calligraphy with her fourth sister, and go out with her fifth sister to play with friends every day. Every time she brought up these, Chu Tianqi would severely reprimand her. Using her status as the eldest sister, he used the excuse of handing over the group to her in the future to let her study hard. So for a long time, she and the four sisters had no common topics. Every day, her head was full of knowledge that was not for her age. Chu Tianqi didn't know that she didn't like these at all, and she really hated her status as the eldest sister. She would rather be the youngest sister, so that she could live happily every day and play with friends without worries. She really hated that her time was always fully arranged by Chu Tianqi. After graduation, she had made great achievements not long after she started working in the group. Whenever someone praised Chu Lingwei, Chu Tianqi would be beaming with joy and brag about how he educated his children. Every time this happened, Chu Lingwei would feel annoyed, as if she was a domesticated pet being shown off by him. Although everyone's eyes were full of praise every time, she felt disgusted and felt that others were laughing at her. Hey, Chu Lingwei, why are you daydreaming? Don't think you can pretend that nothing happened just by daydreaming. Forget it. I'm leaving without saying anything. Chapter 9. Chunan was speechless. He looked at Chu Lingwei, who was in a trance again, and turned around and left. Chu Lingwei woke up suddenly when Chunan was about to disappear in the crowd. She hurriedly chased after him and held Chunan's hand. She felt relieved when she held that broad hand in her palm. She just thought Chunan was really going to leave her. In an instant, a feeling of grievance surged in her heart. She said in a crying voice, "Xiaonan, please don't leave me, okay?" As soon as this sentence came out, the pedestrians nearby looked at Chunan with the eyes of a scumbag. Many people began to whisper, "He looks like a scumbag. If I had such a beautiful girlfriend, I would be willing to drive a luxury car and live in a villa." TSK, your abacus is hitting me in the face. He is going to abandon such a beautiful girl. This man can open a class. I'm kneeling to listen. Chunan turned around and looked at Chu Lingwei, who looked weak, and said unhappily, "What are you going to do?" "Xiaonan, don't abandon your eldest sister, okay? Our card has been suspended, and you still have to go to school. I can support you." Chu Lingwei hugged Chunan's arm and refused to let go. She has been kicked out of the Chu family now, and now only Chunan is left, and she also wants to make up for this brother who owed her for many years. She really couldn't bear Chunan to wander around alone and live alone. With her help, Chunan's life will definitely be easier, and maybe Chunan will forgive her. When passers-by heard the word eldest sister, they immediately lost interest in watching the drama and just thought it was a family conflict. Chunan pulled her to a corner and said seriously, "Chu Lingwei, I can support myself. You don't need to follow me." Chu Lingwei's eyes were red, and she said in a trembling voice, "Xiaonan, eldest sister want to make up for what she owes you all these years. I can take care of you. You, a student, can't study well if you go out to make money every day. I have a high degree of education. I can apply for a company, and then I will support you to study. Chu Lingwei, please, I really don't need you to follow me. You should hurry back to the Chu family. Bow your head to your father and admit your mistakes. Won't everything be fine? I don't need your care either. I've been like this all these years. Do you think I can't survive without a mere Chu family?" Chunan was really annoyed. Is it so difficult to leave a Chu family? It took a whole morning, and it's noon now and it's not over yet. She cried again. Chu Lingwei had never cried so much in her life. "Xiaonan, are you still angry with your eldest sister? I only have you now. Please don't leave me alone, okay? I don't have any money on me. You don't want me to starve to death, right?" When she said this, there was a little cunning in her eyes. Chunan was so angry that she laughed. "So you threatened me, right?" "Yes, I'm still angry with you, so I don't want to see you again, understand?" Chunan said and turned away. But Chu Lingwei grabbed him again, hugged his arm and said coquettishly, "Xiaonan, just let me stay. Okay, Tilda." Feeling the softness of his arm, Chunan shuddered all over. Oh my God, what is Chu Lingwei going to do? Seduction? Doing these? There's not many people here. If she dares to do this again, I won't be polite. He. Chu Lingwei's face changed, and she quickly let go of Chunan's arm. Chunan breathed a sigh of relief, took 2 steps back and said, "Auntie, can you spare me?" "What do you mean you only have me? Don't you have 4 good sisters? Go and rely on them. Why do you have to pester me?" Chu Lingwei shook her head and said firmly, "No, with Dad's character, he will never let them help us. If that happens, it will be meaningless to stop our card." Chu Lingwei shook his hand and said, "So, Xiaonan, can you take me in?" Chunan understood. He understood it completely. He picked up his phone, opened his WeChat, and checked the balance. 5,721 yuan. All this money was saved by the original body after working and studying for a long time. He raised his phone, showed it to Chu Lingwei, and said, 5,721 yuan. Can I transfer 2,500 yuan to you? You can leave now, right? Chu Lingwei was startled, and then felt a tightness in her chest, and the uncomfortable feeling swept through her body. She asked with a sad look, "Xiaonan, do you think I'm pestering you like this because I want your money? Do you think so of me?" Chunan was a little confused, and he asked, "Could it be that isn't it? I don't have anything to attract you." Then his pupils shrank, and he looked at Chu Lingwei in disbelief. "Are you attracted to my body? Although I am a little handsome, and we are not related by blood, but that is against human ethics. Chu Lingwei had a few black lines on his head. I couldn't help but stretch out my fingers and hit him hard on the waist. Ouch, it hurts. Chu Nan grimaced in pain and quickly slapped the hand off his waist. Chu Lingwei stroked her hair and said seriously, "Don't think too much, I don't like you." "But, Xiaonan, I really don't want your money. I just want to follow you. Can't you meet this request? I was kicked out of the house because I spoke up for you. So please take me in, my good brother." Chu Nan could hear sincerity in her words, and he was a little shaken for a moment. Seeing his hesitation, Chu Lingwei stepped up her pressure. "Xiaonan, look at me, from a CEO worth hundreds of millions to an ordinary person, kicked out of the house by my dad, and his card was suspended. Now you still don't take me in. You are trying to force me to death, woo woo woo. Chu Nan, why are you so heartless?" Chu Nan was overwhelmed, and when he saw someone else coming to watch the fun on the side of the road, he quickly comforted her. "Okay, don't cry, you big beauty. What do you look like crying with me here? If you don't know, you might think I molested you. Then do you agree to take me in?" "No. Wow. Fuck. I really owe you." "Wow. Stop crying. Isn't it enough that I agree?" "Okay. Chu Nan was completely dumbfounded. How could she control her tears? This woman is really changeable. She cried heartbreakingly in the last second, and smiled like a flower in the next second. Damn, if you hadn't said so many good things for me today, I wouldn't bother to pay attention to you. Chu Nan found that she was actually looking at him with a smile at this moment, and said something stubbornly. Chapter 10. Chu Lingwei didn't care. After being kicked out of the house, she didn't need to handle the affairs of the group. She seemed relaxed at the moment. She was just thinking about spending some time with Chu Nan. Chu Tianqi handed the group over to Chu He to manage. There would definitely be problems soon. By then, his old bones would not last long, and Dad would naturally take the initiative to bow to her. She also had selfish motives. This was the first time she had such a bad relationship with him. She wanted to win once. Why should she always listen to him unconditionally? Just thinking about his appearance just now, I feel a chill when I think about it now. What kind of father would forcibly kick his daughter out of the house? TSK, but it's okay. This Chu Lingwei is not a bad person, but she is really miserable later. Even if she doesn't leave the Chu family today, she will take the blame for Chu He later. TSK, TSK, TSK. As the two walked on the street, Chu Nan complained in his heart. Chu Lingwei paused after hearing this, and was even more panicked. The back. That's what's going on in the future? Could it be that Chu Nan came back from the future to the present? She looked up at Chu Nan's back in horror. As for the matter of taking the blame, she had forgotten it. Chu Nan found something wrong and turned to look at Chu Lingwei in confusion. "Ooh, what's wrong with you? Did you regret it and want to go back to the Chu family?" He, then go. So she was lying to me. And the funny thing is that I actually believed it. It seems that the Chu family is really the same. Chu Lingwei was anxious all of a sudden, and hurriedly ran up to comfort her. No, I was thinking about something and was distracted for a while. Chu Nan looked at her unexpectedly, with an inexplicable look in his eyes, and said nothing. "Xiao Nan, are you angry?" No. Why do you ask? You're not talking. You must be angry. Come on, there's nothing to say now. Why waste your breath? Chu Lingwei suddenly thought of the scapegoat in his mind just now. After thinking for a long time, she felt that the problem should be with the group, and then asked tentatively, "Xiao Nan, do you think Chu He can make a career after taking over the group?" Chu Nan paused and sneered. "Poochie, him? Don't be ridiculous. If he takes over Chu's, he will be awesome if he doesn't bankrupt it within half a year. This kid and his father are not good people, and I don't know how this old man Chu Tianqi built such a big Chu group. It's ridiculous to think that Chu He privately misappropriated funds from the company's account to eat, drink, gamble, and whore. And when the matter was exposed, he actually asked Chu Lingwei to take the blame. It's really funny. The most ridiculous thing is that I would visit her in prison from time to time to give her warmth, and even went to Kyoto to petition, but in the end I failed." As Chu Nan walked, He cursed Chu Qianqi in his heart, saying he was nothing, and he also felt sorry for the original body's stupid operation. After hearing this, Chu Lingwei followed him like a lost soul. In her mind, she would still hear Chu Lingwei was asked to take the blame after the incident was exposed and visiting the prison and going to Kyoto to petition. So, if I didn't go with Chu Nan today, would this happen in the future? She couldn't believe that her father would be so heartless, and she couldn't believe that Chu He, her own brother, would do this. She felt so uncomfortable. She followed Chu Nan silently, and tears flowed unconsciously again. Tears are worthless anyway, so be gentle. Chu Nan soon found that something was wrong. Passers-by were looking at him with strange eyes and occasionally pointed at him. He frowned and turned to look. He looked up at Tianxin and felt tired. Why are you crying again? Little ancestor, please stop crying, okay? Chu Lingwei seemed not to notice and bumped into Chu Nan's arms. All of a sudden, Chu Lingwei felt that she was enveloped by the sense of security that belonged to Chu Nan. She couldn't help but put her arms around his waist and leaned her face on Chu Nan's chest. She sobbed silently. Now she felt that only Chu Nan could give her a sense of security. After she was imprisoned, this brother who had been hurt by her own hands could still think of visiting her. He even went to Kyoto to petition for her. Chu Nan's hands froze in midair, and he was a little at a loss. Oh my God, what's wrong with you? Do you really like me? Hugging and hugging in the street, how can it be decent? But it seems not bad. The feeling of having a beautiful woman in your arms, I didn't experience it in my previous life. In his previous life, he was a social animal, working as a programmer in a game company. He was almost bald in middle age. He was hurt by love in high school and was disappointed with this illusory thing that I don't have a wife or girlfriend, and I don't have time to fall in love. I spend my days reading novels and listening to music, and I always imagine myself as the protagonist in the novel. Chu Lingwei shuddered. Last life. He really died once, didn't he? Feeling the emotional changes of the woman in his arms, Chu Nan didn't care that they were on the street, and hugged her body tightly. Well, I have to say, it's really good, fragrant, and soft. Chu Lingwei was so moved, but he was thinking about this in his heart. She pushed Chu Nan away, glared at him, and walked forward. Chu Nan was stunned in place, a little confused. This woman, did she take the wrong medicine? He murmured and chased after her. After the two reconciled on the road, they found a house near the university where Chu Nan was studying. Brother, isn't your house really too expensive? 1,500 yuan a month, and you have to pay a half-year rent deposit. Are you kidding me? You are charging so much for such a small house. Do you think I am not old enough to be cheated? Chu Nan and his partner found a real estate agency and started looking at houses. This is an old residential building, and the house is not big, about 40 to 50 square meters, with a bedroom, a toilet, and a kitchen. Brother, this is a normal price. According to your requirements, there is no house more suitable than this. Chu Lingwei followed Chu Nan silently. She wanted to see if her brother had the ability to solve the house problem. If not, she could ask a few friends for help. Your price is too high. 1,300 yuan a month, 1 month deposit, and 1 month rent is about right. But half a year rent? Are you kidding me? Chu Nan looked at the man with an unhappy face. The man is the landlord here, looking thin and weak, about 30 years old, with a little baldness. How is this possible? Who haggles like you? It's no big deal if you cut the water and electricity, or the rent, but why do you cut the deposit? It's fine if you cut it, but you actually want a deposit of 1 month and a payment of 1 month. Chapter 11. Hey, what's the lowest price? Tell me a number. 1,400 yuan for rent and 4 months deposit. Let's go. There's no need to waste time here. They are treating us like fools. Hey, wait a minute, let's talk about it. Don't leave in a hurry. So there's still room for negotiation. I'll tell you a number. If it's okay, it's okay. If it's not okay, I'll leave. Okay, tell me what you think. 1,300 yuan for rent and 2 months deposit. No, at least 3 months. 2 months, forget it if it doesn't work. The landlord felt a little nauseous when he saw his stubborn look. If it weren't for the fact that no one had rented this house for a while, he wouldn't have agreed to such an outrageous request. Okay, then 2 months. You can't default on rent, water, and electricity bills, or you know what I mean. Hey, that's natural. Chunan smiled with satisfaction. He had long seen that no one had lived in this house for a while, and the room was already a little dusty. The landlord must be anxious to rent out the house, so there is room for maneuver, but he was really scared just now. Half a year is required. Isn't this a joke? We don't have to pay the property management fee, right? The property management fee is 500 yuan. The landlord's eyes were shrewd. Brother, don't be funny. The property management fee for your house is at most 100 yuan, okay? Do you really think I don't understand? Chunan patted the landlord on the shoulder. The landlord's face was almost green, but he pretended to be relaxed and said, Humph, you found out. 100 is 100. Puff. Chu Lingwei couldn't hold it back and laughed. The landlord looked back at Chu Lingwei, gave Chunan a thumbs up, and looked at Chunan with envy. Brother, you are quite lucky. Well, okay, all transferred, for 1,100 yuan, 200 for water and electricity. Chunan transferred the money neatly and signed the contract. As for the 1-year lease, he had never thought about the penalty for breach of contract. He would not move out so soon. At the same time, Chunan's fourth sister Chu Lingyan had already found something wrong. She is a university teacher, teaching in the Chinese department. You should know that Chunan specially entered Jiangda for her, and he made a lot of efforts for this. After Chunan was admitted to Jiangda, he would send her lunch every day. But she sat in the office waiting for a long time today, and Chunan did not come even though she was almost starving. At first she thought Chunan was delayed by something, but she did not expect that Chunan still did not come at almost noon. She slammed the door in anger and came to the computer major of Jiangda, and found Chunan's professional teacher based on her memory. The teacher's name is Wang Yu, an old man in his 30s, a little fat and a little bald. Teacher Wang Yu, I want to ask, did Chunan from your class come to class today? Chu Lingyan smiled at Wang Yu. Her 2 dimples were so cute. This smile made the male teachers in the office look at him with a straight face. Wang Yu swallowed his saliva, and his pig-like look made Chu Lingyan lose his smile. Wang Yu came back to his senses and picked up the roll call list to read it. Teacher Chunan didn't have class today. He skipped class. You came here to give him. Wang Yu gave him a look that said you know. Chu Lingyan's face suddenly turned cold. She didn't care about Wang Yu and left the office directly. Wang Yu was left sitting there with a confused look on his face, and the other male teachers laughed teasingly. You Chunan, you are so lawless now that you don't even go to class. Chu Lingyan was really angry after leaving the office. She originally thought that Chunan might just have forgotten to bring his lunch, which was just a small matter. It turned out to be skipping class. She took out her phone and called Chunan. Beep, beep, beep. Hey, Chu Lingyan, why are you looking for me? Chunan's slightly tired and breathless voice came. Chu Lingyan was a little confused. Why are you panting? Could it be? Her pretty face immediately flushed, and she hurried into an empty classroom. Hello, Chu Lingyan. If you don't talk, I'll hang up. I'm busy. You're busy? What are you busy with? You skipped class today just for this. Chunan, you really disappoint me so much. Chunan paused while carrying a lot of bags, and he looked at Chu Lingwei, who was also moving things with a confused look. Although the phone was not on speakerphone, even Chu Lingwei, who was standing next to him, could hear the questioning. They bought all kinds of daily necessities from a nearby shopping mall and are still transporting them upstairs. Damn, this Chu Lingyan, did you take the wrong medicine? Chunan, talk to me. Chu Lingyan was still questioning. Chunan was quite unhappy and tutted. Damn, Chu Lingyan, do you care about me? Who the hell do you think you are? It's none of your business if I skip class. Oh, you're not angry because I skipped class, right? It's because I didn't bring you lunch. And even if I didn't skip class today, I wouldn't bring you lunch again. Do you remember the disgust on your face every time I brought you lunch? How dare you call me to question me? Chunan was really speechless. What kind of person is this? He just didn't bring her lunch. He wouldn't eat it himself. Chu Lingyan was directly scolded and stunned. Did Chu Nan scold himself? Is he crazy? Hasn't he always obeyed me? Why is he so angry today? She opened her mouth and wanted to scold back. But she thought of her identity as a teacher and said, "It has nothing to do with bringing lunch. The reason I'm angry is that you actually skipped class to do that kind of thing. Are you going to waste your studies just for these things? You really disappoint me." Chu Lingyan was very disappointed with him. She cared about the reason why he skipped class, but he actually thought that he was angry because he didn't have a meal. Please, she is not that kind of person. What's the matter? Chu Nan was stunned by the question and didn't react for a while. Chu Lingwei, who was standing next to him, had a ruddy face, but she understood. What do you think? Do. Fuck. Chu Lingyan, are you mentally ill? Chu Nan was shocked. Oh my god. Do it. She really wants it. Come on. Listen to who I'm with. Am I doing it with her? Chu Nan turned on the speaker of his phone and handed it to Chu Lingwei. Chu Lingyan frowned. Does he want to let me hear the voice of a woman who is in the same bed with him? So disgusting. She got goosebumps. Hello? Xiaoyan, it's me. Chu Lingwei's unique and elegant voice came into her ears. She understood at once that she had misunderstood Chu Nan, and that he was with her eldest sister. Eldest sister. I didn't know it was you. Sorry. She apologized a little embarrassedly. You shouldn't apologize to me. You should apologize to Xiaonan. Chu Lingwei said lightly. Chapter 12. Chu Lingyan was stunned. Okay, Xiaonan, I misunderstood you. Fourth sister apologizes to you. But why did you skip class? She became emotional again. Chu Nan scratched his ears and said impatiently, I have left the Chu family and will never go back, so I have to find a house to live in. In addition, I tell you, your eldest sister is the same. You should come and persuade your eldest sister to go home, so as not to suffer with me. Chu Lingwei angrily stepped forward and hit him. Don't talk nonsense. I won't go back. A big question mark appeared on Chu Lingyan's head. What do you mean? Chu Nan left the Chu family and took my eldest sister with him? What did you say? Leaving the Chu family? She exclaimed. Then she realized something was wrong, frowned, and said with displeasure, Chu Nan, your excuse for skipping class is too funny, isn't it? And you are so silly. Sister, how can you make such a joke? Chu Nan moved the things to the living room with a huff. After taking a few breaths, she said to the phone, Chu Lingyan, we are not joking. Not long ago, your stupid father kicked Chu Lingwei and me out of the house. Do you understand now? Chu Lingyan frowned even more. Chu Nan, how can you scold your own father? Sister, why don't you discipline him? Chu Lingwei stopped what she was doing. After pursing his lips and hesitating for a moment, he said, Lingyan, Xiaonan may have gone too far, but Dad is indeed a little abnormal today. And what Xiaonan just said is true. We have been kicked out of the house. Even my bank card has been frozen. So, do you think Dad has a problem now? Chu Lingyan was stunned after hearing all this. She stammered, Big sister, are you serious? You were kicked out. Oh, why would we lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can go back and see for yourself, right? Chu Nan snatched the phone and hung up the phone. He really didn't want to say a few more words to the Chu family. Maybe they would start scolding him again later. Although he was happy to accompany them, it was not appropriate to have Chu Lingwei by his side. After the call was hung up, the dull look on Chu Lingyan's face disappeared and turned into anger. It was almost what Chu Nan thought. She subconsciously thought that Chu Nan must have offended Chu Tianqi, and that he was kicked out because he violated Chu Tianqui's bottom line. The eldest sister must have been kicked out because of Chu Nan. This Chu Nan, look at the trouble he caused. And he even implicated my eldest sister. After she sorted out her clothes, she left the teaching building and headed straight for the parking lot. She got on her supercar and rushed to the Chu family. She made up her mind to make Chu Tianqi change his mind. How could the two of them live without money outside? Chu Nan and Chu Lingwei spent an afternoon buying some daily necessities. During this period, Chu Nan didn't want to buy a quilt for Chu Lingwei, so he covered himself with his first He felt that Chu Lingwei would return to the Chu family soon anyway, so it would be a waste to buy one. He only had 1,600 yuan on him, and he had to save it. As a result, Chu Lingwei coaxed him for a long time, and passers-by pointed at him for a long time, and finally he had no choice but to compromise. He was really annoyed to death by Chu Lingwei. When she got to the mall, she bought everything. She would buy anything she thought was useful, and Chu Nan couldn't persuade her. She didn't notice Chu Nan's increasingly dark face. After leaving the mall, Chu Nan only had a pitiful 500 yuan left. They ordered 2 boxes of fried rice at a roadside stall, and they wolfed them down before returning home. After sorting out the things they bought, this room of less than 60 square meters finally looked like a place for people to live. Xiao Nan, don't be angry, I'll give you half of the money I make in the future. Okay, Chu Lingwei comforted Chu Nan, who had a dark face the whole time. Haha, I really don't understand why you bought so many useless things. Take a look at these. Please tell me what they are for. He pointed to the ground, which contained multi-layered fruit plates, complex candlesticks, cartoon-shaped trash cans, irregularly shaped floor mats, animal-shaped stools, multi-layered iron flower stands, handmade ceramic wind chimes, and so on. All of them are flashy and useless, and they cost him a lot of money. Chu Lingwei was speechless for a moment. Oh, forget it. Take a shower and go to bed. Chu Nan was really helpless. He really shouldn't have said that. At that time she accepted Chu Lingwei's money out of pity. She is a spendthrift woman. Chu Lingwei went to take a shower, leaving Chu Nan sitting on a stool in deep thought. I didn't go to class today, nor did I go to my part-time job. I don't know if my boss will criticize me. It seems that I have to explain to him tomorrow. If I sincerely apologize to him, he should forgive me, right? But why didn't he call me to ask why I didn't go to work? After thinking for a while, he felt bored and subconsciously took out his phone to read a novel. This was a habit he developed in his previous life, and it didn't change after crossing over. Since his original body didn't read novels, he downloaded the Tomato novel app in the App Store. The key search only found this, and he didn't even see the end of the novel in his previous life. After downloading, he clicked in and looked for the book he had been following in his previous life. But it didn't take long for him to find something wrong. Where's the book? Was it censored? It shouldn't be. The author is so cunning that he just glossed over all the details. The censors couldn't do anything to trouble him. Chu Nan scratched his head. He felt itchy if he didn't read it for a day. But he had no choice but to search for another book he was following, but he still couldn't find it. He opened the bookstore with a face full of question marks and took a look at the top books on the popularity list. He clicked on a few books and left as if he had eaten shit after reading the beginning. Either it was a domineering CEO, a stud, or a burst of self-adultery at the beginning. It was simply unbearable. He felt that the people in this world were so pitiful that they couldn't even read a decent book. How about writing one yourself? His memories of the previous life were very clear, just like a movie imprinted in his mind. He could quickly recall any clip he wanted to watch. Chu Nan shuddered all over, and his eyes flashed. Yeah, why don't you just pick a book that was popular before you traveled through time? Whatever Dupo, what de Luo. I've read it several times, so what's wrong with being a plagiarist in this life? Especially Dupo. Whenever I'm out of books, I'll click it and read it again. He did it as soon as he thought of it. He immediately registered a writer account and passed it quickly. I think it's quite lucky. If I was under 18 years old, I couldn't even withdraw the royalties. At the same time, Brother Hu on Oath felt a chill rushing to his head. He looked around with a confused face, a little confused. Just write Dupo. Forget the other one. I don't want to be entangled by my own mother. Chu Nan downloaded a beautiful picture and quickly made the cover of the novel with his memory. Then fill in the information of the work. Type the introduction. This is the world of Dookie. Chapter 13. Chu Nan didn't hesitate and started writing. Chapter 1, The Fallen Sky. Battle Power, 3rd Stage. Looking at the test magic stone, Chu Nan's headache was that he didn't have the money to buy a computer, otherwise he could type even faster. But he was still fast. He could type more than 30 words a minute on his mobile phone, which means more than 2,000 words an hour. No, I have to discuss this month's manuscript fee with the editor and send it to me in advance. Otherwise, I really can't even afford to eat, let alone pay the rent. He muttered to himself. It was already 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening when Chu Lingwei finished taking a shower, and Chu Nan was still typing frantically. Xiao Nan, do you want to take a shower? Chu Lingwei wore a loose white pajama she bought today, and came forward curiously while wiping her hair. Nothing. I'm writing a novel. What's wrong? The fragrant wind blew, but Chu Nan didn't even turn his head. If he looked back at this moment, he would find Chu Lingwei leaning over, revealing her beautiful figure. Novel? You? Chu Lingwei hesitated. After all, her third sister Chu Lingshuang often wrote novels, but she was also an amateur, and Chu Lingwei couldn't comment on her writing style. What? Do you look down on me? Do you believe that I can support myself with this book in the future? Chu Nan sneered and didn't care. Xiao Nan, write if you want, but you still have to focus on your studies and don't be too obsessed. Chu Lingwei still reminded him. Chu Lingshuang was addicted to online writing before. After graduation, she didn't work hard and stayed at home as a full-time writer for a year. In the end, because she couldn't write well, she was forced to work by Chu Tianqi. But she didn't give up. She would continue to write novels in her spare time. Chu Lingwei was afraid that Chu Nan would be addicted to reading and writing novels. Haha, just wait and see. This book will definitely make a big splash in the online literature world. Chu Nan smiled confidently. Yeah. I believe you. Chu Lingwei shook her head with amusement. Chu Nan was quite unhappy and turned back to glare at him. But then, his sight was firmly attracted. It was as if there was a magnetic force. My defa, what is this? Chu Nan's eyes were about to be straightened. Who? Chu Lingwei looked at Chu Nan in confusion. But when she saw clearly that Nan's sight was looking at her collar, her face suddenly turned red with shame. Rogue. She quickly covered her collar with one hand, and the other hand hit the back of his head. Hey, it's obviously your fault. Okay, I didn't want to read it. Chu Nan sat up innocently and spread his hands. What do you mean I didn't want to read it? Did you do it on purpose? Chu Lingwei put one hand on her waist and pointed at him with the other hand. I saw it on purpose. Accidentally. Chu Nan scratched his head shyly. You. Shameless. Chu Lingwei gnashed her teeth in anger. Shame and anger appeared on her delicate face. She kicked Chu Nan hard, then lay down on the bed angrily. TSK. She's so beautiful even when she's angry. It's really hard to deal with her. Sleeping in the same room with her is really life-threatening. Chu Nan calmed down and continued to type, and couldn't help but admire. He couldn't help but worry about the future. If he got angry, he couldn't even think about the consequences. Chu Lingwei, who was lying on the bed, secretly glanced at Chu Nan on the ground, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. H&H, you have good vision. Otherwise I would have beaten you up. Damn, I can't write anymore. Why is my head full of that scene just now? No. If I think about it anymore, something bad will happen. Chu Nan secretly pinched his arm hard, and then he stopped thinking about it. Chu Lingwei shrank her neck. Chu Nan won't be so beastly in the middle of the night that he will. It shouldn't be. I know his character. He will definitely not do such a beastly thing. Only Chu he can do such a thing. Damn it, why do I think of him again? A sense of nausea for no reason made her very uncomfortable. The thought of her underwear being taken to do that kind of thing made her feel sick. She even imagined whether the one she was wearing now was also. She trembled and hurried to the bathroom to change to a new one, and then wash her body below the waist again. No matter whether this one has been poisoned or not, if she doesn't change it or wash it, she won't be able to sleep well today. As for the old one, she threw it directly into the trash can. Chu Lingwei lay on the bed, looking at the various messages sent in the sister group. She chose to remain silent and did not answer. Chu Nan kept typing until almost 12 o'clock. He wanted to write for a while longer, but was scolded by Chu Lingwei that he had no choice but to take a shower. In the bathroom, he saw the piece of paper in the trash can, and thought it was a little funny, and guessed the reason. After taking a shower, he lay back on the mat on the floor and closed his eyes. He had to go to school tomorrow. Oh, it's really troublesome. I don't want to go to school, so I might as well write. I think I'm a computer major. That's great. Computers are required for professional courses, so why don't I just write? This way, I can write while attending class. He thought contentedly. TSK. It's really uncomfortable to sleep on this floor. Oh, when can Chu Lingwei leave? I can go back to bed. Chunan smacked his lips in dissatisfaction and turned over. Chu Lingwei on the bed was stunned and absent-minded. I've bullied him for so many years. In the end, I still care about him the most, and I still want to let myself go. Why was I such a bastard before? What a good person. I was destroyed by me and this family. I'm so ridiculous. I was kicked out of the house, and I still have to rely on him who I hurt for many years. Chu Lingwei's nose was sour, and tears flowed unconsciously. She quickly touched her nose with her hand and sniffed. Cold? No way. You can catch a cold at this temperature. Chunan sat up and glanced at Chu Lingwei, who was pretending to sleep, but didn't care too much. But his action undoubtedly made Chu Lingwei feel more guilty. I was really a piece of shit before. Xiao Nan was so good, but I turned a blind eye to him, and occasionally I would listen to chew his nonsense and beat him. She clenched her fingers together, and her knuckles turned white. She pinched her thigh hard, and the pain temporarily interrupted her wild thoughts. But what followed were the little things of these years. Every time I came home drunk, there was always a bowl of sobering soup at the bedside when I woke up. I originally thought it was a nanny or Chuhi who did it, but it turned out to be Chunan. Every time Chunan saw me, he was timid and hesitant, as if he was very scared. Whenever I saw Chunan like this, I would get so angry that I would scold him harshly. But now I think about it, Chunan was not like this when he was a child. Since she was forced by her father to learn all kinds of business knowledge, she wanted to vent her irritability, but she couldn't lose her temper with her 4 sisters. So she vented all her grievances and dissatisfaction on Chunan. Although she rarely hit him, it was just verbal attacks. But how could a child bear this? So he gradually became afraid to get close to me and afraid of me. She looked at the boy sleeping with his eyes closed under the bed in the moonlight, and her heart was stabbed. Chapter 14. Time went to when Chu Lingyan drove home. She actually had a little bit of luck in her heart. When she got home, she saw Chu Tianqi sitting on the sofa and looking angry as soon as she entered the living room. "Dad, I'm back." She casually greeted him and went straight to the 2nd floor. Chu Tianqi didn't care about his 4th daughter and was still thinking about the scenes in the morning. Thinking of Chu Lingwei saying that she was heartless, she felt annoyed. After Chu Lingyan went up to the 2nd floor, she went directly to her eldest sister Chu Lingwei's room. She took a look at the door and saw nothing unusual. Then Chu Lingyan thought about the location of Chu Nan's room for a while, and it took her a long time to remember it. When she arrived in front of Chu Nan's door and pushed it gently, she could see the whole room as far as she could see. She was stunned. Why is this room so small? You know, their rooms and Chu's rooms are very large, at least 30 or 40 square meters, and this small room is at most 10 square meters, right? How did he live there? Then he looked around the room, which was very messy, as if someone had messed it up on purpose. The bed was full of books, and the desk had fallen to the ground. This completely wiped out her luck. With tears in her eyes, she hurriedly turned on her phone and made a call. She wanted to confirm whether her eldest sister was really kicked out of the house. "Hello, 2nd sister. Did the eldest sister go to work today?" Chu Lingyan asked with a hint of tears in her voice. In a luxurious office building in Jiang City, Chu Lingxue sat in the vice president's office, with an elegant posture and delicate features but no expression on her face. She held a cup of coffee, and her cold eyes were full of doubts. "Xiaoyan, why do you seem to be crying?" Chu Lingxue's voice was like the ice that could not be broken for thousands of years, without a trace of temperature. Chu Lingyan didn't care, and the Chu family had long been accustomed to her coldness. "I'm fine. Tell me first if my eldest sister went to work at the group today." Chu Lingxue thought for a moment and said truthfully to no. She didn't go to work all day today. She must have something personal to do. Hearing this, Chu Lingyan's nose was sour and tears slid down. Eldest sister. Eldest sister was driven away by Dad. Driven out of the house, she said with a sob. Chu Lingxue's originally relaxed body suddenly tensed up, and she sat up straight subconsciously. "What did you say?" The voice coming out of the microphone had two different tones. One was the coldness before, without any temperature. The other was full of surprise, as if it was a voice that could only be made by a teenage girl. Sister Shui, Sister Yang. I said that my eldest sister was driven away by Dad, and she was driven away with Chunan, Chu Lingyan replied in a trembling voice. Chu Lingshui actually has a dual personality. When working, entertaining, meeting clients, or attending some important occasions, the personality will be dominated by Chu Lingshui. Because when Chu Lingshui controls her body, she will emit a low pressure when facing strangers or people who are not close to her, and she looks like an iceberg. Her personality is also quite cold and arrogant, and the employees and subordinates of the group think she is a ruthless nun. Chu Lingshui has extremely high requirements for employees and herself, and will punish them for any mistakes, especially for herself. Another personality, everyone familiar with her knows that she gave herself a name, Chu Lingyan. Her personality is very lively. She loves to play, likes singing, dancing, and playing games with Wu Mai. Especially singing. She has released several songs on the internet, and they are quite popular, and she is considered a small internet celebrity. Every time Chu Lingshui leaves the group after get off work, she will give control of her body to Chu Lingyan as soon as possible. Because even Chu Lingyan asked her to drive home. Most of the time on Saturdays and Sundays will be given to Chu Lingyan, so that she can relax. Chu Lingshui didn't have any objections, because most of the week was given to her, and Chu Lingyan could only watch. When he was bored, he could only talk to Chu Lingshui from the heart to relieve his boredom. The two of them had long been inseparable. Chu Qianqi had thought about taking her to see a psychologist to see if the two personalities could be combined into one. But it was strongly rejected and opposed by everyone in the Chu family. They believed that after the two personalities were combined into one, the new one would not be the original Chu Lingshui. And the two of them got along very well and almost never quarreled. Chu Qianqi finally gave up, as long as it didn't delay her career and work. Why? Big sister and Xiaonan were driven away together. Did Xiaonan make any mistakes? Chu Lingyan's tone was very anxious. Among the 5 sisters in the Chu family, only Chu Lingyan was the best to Chunan. But that was just looking for gold in a shit pit son. That is, occasionally playing with him, chatting and so on. It must be like this. Big sister can't be kicked out for no reason. It must be Chunan's fault. I'm going to ask Dad what's going on. Oh, by the way, second sister, you should come back quickly. This family can't be without big sister. Chu Lingyan touched the corner of her eyes and hung up the phone after speaking. Chu Lingshui discussed with Yang here, and Chu Lingshui also left in a hurry. This time, she didn't let Yang drive. The reason she chose to drive herself was that Yang's driving was really unstable. She didn't dare to let Yang, who was now anxious, drive. What if there was a car accident? In the living room of the Chu family, Chu Lingyan ran down from upstairs. She came to Chu Tianqi and asked, Dad, big sister, and Chunan, don't mention that rebellious girl to me. Chu Tianqui's anger did not dissipate, but felt even angrier. Today he lost all his face in front of his adopted son, Chunan. Chu Lingwei actually still protects him like this. Chunan is just an adopted son. He is a wild child from outside. How can she be so ungrateful? Dad, what happened? Can you tell me? Chu Lingyan sat beside him and asked softly. She wanted to know what the cause of the incident was. Chu Qianqi snorted coldly, and then started to talk about how he was attracted by the static and dynamic. At the end of the story, his face was full of anger. He really didn't expect that this eldest daughter would take Chunan away without looking back. I still have high hopes for this eldest daughter. I have cultivated all kinds of business knowledge in her since she was a child. Who knew that she would betray me? Well, then, get out of here. The Chu family has lost Chu Lingwei, but there is still Chu Lingshui and Chu He. At worst, there is still this old bone of mine. Chu Lingyan knew everything that happened and opened her mouth in shock. I don't know what to say. If Chu Tianqi said that he did nothing wrong, she would not flatter him. After all, many people in the family knew that Chu Tianqi would take out his anger on Chunan. Now that he kicked you in rebellion and told you about the injustice and grievances over the years, you are angry and drive Chunan away. What's even more outrageous is that he actually took his anger out on his elder sister. Chu Lingwei just wanted to ease the atmosphere, but ended up getting pissed off. If Chu Tianqi said that he did the right thing, she would find it even more difficult to understand. It was obviously you who had the first idea to beat Chu Nan, and then drove the eldest sister out of the house. This is really unacceptable. Chapter 15. Chu Lingyan did not defend Chu Nan. She did not like Chu Nan very much either. Since Chu Nan was admitted to Jiang University, whenever he had no classes at school, he would go to her class. She was disgusted at first, but she did not say anything. Until Chu Nan went there more often, some people in the class began to spread rumors that Chu Nan was her boyfriend. Chu Nan's identity had never been exposed, and everyone thought he was an orphan without family. When she knew the rumor, she was furious and found Chu Nan and gave him a severe lesson. Chu Nan did not fight back, but just took the beating without saying a word. She was even more furious. A grown man was beaten by a woman but did not fight back, and did not say anything back. What kind of person is this? A coward? The beating caused Chu Nan's forearm to be broken, which was scratched by her fingernails. But the most infuriating thing was that Chu Nan did not dare to go to her class, but squatted outside the classroom door and listened secretly. After being discovered, she clarified in front of the whole class that they were not boyfriend and girlfriend, and in the end, Chu Nan was still regarded as a pervert by the students in their class. Later, Chu Nan wanted to see Chu Lingyan and could only send her food every day. In the end, she felt that she was quite wrong. After all, Chu Nan just wanted to see her, the fourth sister, and get close to her, without thinking so many crooked thoughts. He should have endured beating and scolding him for her face. So she accepted Chu Nan sending her food, and she thought that this was an apology. But then again, if she didn't speak for Chu Nan, she would definitely speak for her good elder sister. Dad, my eldest sister should be angry with you. After all, you seem to have done something wrong at that time. It hurt my eldest sister's heart. You also said that Xiaohe would manage the group. How sad she must be. Chu Lingyan pulled her father's arm and persuaded. Chu Tianqi frowned and said unhappily, I did something wrong? Why? Do you mean that I should apologize to her? She can't bow her head to me. Yes, fourth sister. Why should Dad bow his head to the eldest sister? It is obviously the eldest sister who has been helping Chu Nan. But Chu Nan beats and scolds Dad. From Dad's perspective, who do you think should bow his head? Chu He, who had been silent, spoke up. You can't really let this old guy Chu Tianqi take Chu Lingwei back. Then when can I really control the Chu group? Only when I really kick Chu Lingwei into the endless abyss can I succeed in taking over. When I control the family property, I will give Chu Lingwei some compensation. As for Chu Nan, I will make Chu Nan disappear quietly in this world. Chu Lingyan's face fell when she heard Chu He's words. This little brother is really outrageous. It seems that he is spoiled too much on weekdays. He is acting recklessly at this critical moment. She raised her eyebrows and scolded, Xiaohe, do you really want your eldest sister to come back? Have you forgotten how good your eldest sister is to you? What do you mean by adding fuel to the fire now? Chu Lingyan, that's enough. Chu Tianqi interrupted her. Xiaohe is right. Why should I bow my head and admit my mistakes? She has been helping that little beast Chu Nan today. It really pissed me off. You want me to apologize to her? No way. If she wants to go home, let her come to me and kneel down to beg me. Chu Tianqi narrowed his eyes and said firmly, if she wants to go home, she has to apologize. No room for negotiation. Dad, how can you let your eldest sister come back now? Chu Lingyan was a little anxious. My eldest sister is a strong and stubborn person. She is just like you, and she is unwilling to give in. Her personality is similar to yours. If neither of you is willing to give in, what should we do? At the end, her voice was filled with tears. Chu Lingyan, that's enough. If she refuses to apologize, she will never come back to this house. Can't I cure her? By the way, Chu Lingyan, I warn you. Also warn you, the four sisters, not to give her a penny. Did you hear me? Chu Tianqi shook off his daughter's hand and shouted at her angrily. Dad! Chu Lingyan was stunned by the shout. Then she came to her senses and said anxiously, "Dad, you can't do this. You stopped my eldest sister's card. How can she live outside? You still don't let us transfer money to her. What do you want her to do?" Chu Tianqui's anger was rising. "What should I do? If you can't survive, come back and beg me. Kneel down and apologize to me. Otherwise, she will die outside." Noodles. Chu was secretly happy on the side. "That's right. Old Deng, you are so capable. When you are old, your son, I will give you 1 million every month as living expenses." Chu Lingyan was completely stunned. She really didn't expect her father to be so heartless. "Eldest sister is your daughter. How can you do this? Dad, you are really a bit too much. Eldest sister obviously didn't do anything wrong. It was you who wanted to beat Chunan without saying a word when you came in." She just said a few words for Chunan. "How could you drive eldest sister away in a rage?" Chu Lingyan grabbed his hand and wanted to persuade him. She felt that Chu Tianqui's approach would definitely be useful. When Chu Lingwei really couldn't make it outside in the future, she would go home and admit her mistakes. Then the relationship between their father and daughter would definitely drop to the freezing point, and it would be the kind that could not be eased. It is even possible that the two would meet as if they were enemies. She really didn't want to see this happen. She knew her eldest sister too well. She had been very depressed since she was a child, unable to resist the pressure from her father. Now she was so old, almost 30, and still being suppressed. If the two of them completely fell out, then what would come was a rebound. The only solution was Chu Tianqi. As long as he was willing to bow his head and apologize, everything could be solved. It was also possible that their relationship would be better than before. But her persuasion did not calm Chu Tianqi down. Instead, he was so angry that his whole body was shaking. "Chu Lingyan, you said I was too much? How did I go too far? I only need to teach that little beast a lesson, and she can just stay silent. She can bow her head, and she can listen to me and go home. But she chose the opposite side. You want me to apologize to her now? Chu Lingyan, I tell you, dream on. If you are speaking for Chu Lingwei, you get out of here too. Did you hear me?" Chu Tianqi was furious, pointing at Chu Lingyan's nose and roaring. His roar made the other two dumbfounded. "Damn, what are you doing, Lao Deng? Are you going to drive my fourth sister away?" Chu really didn't expect his Lao Deng to be so crazy. He became more determined in his heart. That is, he must not provoke him, otherwise he would have no good life. Chu Lingyan was completely dazed. She pointed at herself and asked, "Dad, are you going to drive me away?" Chapter 16. I said, "If you say a good word for her, you'll leave." Chu Tianqui's tone slowed down a bit, but he still expressed his determination firmly. At this time, the living room door was opened. Chu Lingxue hurried back. "Dad, Shayan, what's going on?" It was Yang who spoke. Chu Lingxue usually doesn't take the initiative to participate in such a fight. What's going on? Go ask your good sister yourself." I still say the same thing. If she doesn't apologize, don't even think about coming back. After that, Chu Tianqi waved his sleeves and went upstairs. Chu was afraid that Chu Lingyan would transfer her anger to him, so he followed her, but stopped at the stairs and secretly listened to the conversation between the two people below. After the two left, Chu Lingyan was left with a confused face. "Shayan, tell me quickly, what's going on?" Yang asked hurriedly. "Wu-woo, Sister Yang, what should I do?" Chu Lingyan cried. She was a little resentful. "If my second sister could come back earlier, I would have a helper, and maybe I could really make my father change his mind." "Okay, don't cry. Our Xiaoyan is so beautiful. It won't look good if her face is red with tears." Chu Lingyan pulled her to sit down. She cried for a long time before she stopped. "Okay, tell me what happened." She gently stroked the back of Chu Lingyan's hand. She was a little scared. On weekdays, everyone in the family was harmonious. Why did such a big mess happen today? "Sister Yang, it's like this." Chu Lingyan repeated the story and the conversation she had just had with Chu Tianqi. She also talked about her feelings about her eldest sister and father's personalities, expressing her concerns. Yang frowned when he heard it. "What happened to Dad today? It's obvious that it's forcing my eldest sister to bow down to him. My eldest sister must be angry this time. She must have wanted to win once since she was a child. It should be said that the sisters saw through Chu Lingwei's heart very thoroughly and understood the whole story very easily. What should we do now? Don't we have any solution at all? Let my eldest sister fend for herself outside. Chu Lingyan asked for help. Yang was also in trouble. Yang, Shui, you heard everything clearly just now. Yang, you are the smartest. Do you have any solution? Shui, stupid. Dad doesn't let me give money to my eldest sister, so can't I give it secretly? Yang slapped his head and thought to himself that he was really confused. Xiaoyan, can't we give it secretly? Can't we just transfer the money to my eldest sister directly? Yang said. Chu Lingyan also slapped his head. Okay, I'll transfer money to her now. She took out her phone, clicked on the eldest sister's profile picture, and directly transferred 200,000 yuan. But after entering the password, she was prompted that transfer failed. Both of them were dumbfounded. Shui, alas, you two are really hopeless. Shui, eldest sister's bank card is frozen. You can't transfer money. Yang reacted and asked in his heart. Yang, so you mean to give her cash, right? Shui, you still have some brains, not a useless person who can only sing, dance, and play games. Yang, I just forgot. Sloppy. Eldest sister's bank card is frozen. We can't transfer money, so why not give cash offline? Or you can get her another bank card. Yang said. Chu's pupils shrank when he heard this. Damn it. I have to tell Lao Deng about this and stop them. If this happens, Chu Lingwei will definitely be even more desperate about this family, and it will be even more impossible for her to bow her head. He quietly went up to the second floor. Chu Lingyan nodded in agreement. The two quickly packed up and prepared to leave. But who knew? Where are you going? Chu Tianqui's voice came from the stairs. The voice was very angry and very depressed. The two sisters trembled and almost dropped their bags on the ground. Dad, what are you? Chu Lingyan stuttered. Chu Tianqi had a gloomy face and stared at her without saying a word. Yang's eyes turned and said, Dad, we are going out to play. I'm going to sing later. I invited my fourth sister. Shut up. Chu Tianqi suddenly yelled. Click. Both of them turned pale with fear and dropped their bags. You want to see Chu Lingwei, right? I tell you, you can. But, as long as you go, you will don't come back. Chu Tianqui's tone was cold, without any emotion. The turbid old eyes kept scanning the two of them, as if they wanted to eat people. Dad, no way, you think too much. Hee hee. Yang explained with a pale face. Yes, Dad, you must think too much. Chu Lingyan also said. Okay, then you go. But, I will check every expense you make from now on. If I find out that you have done something you shouldn't do, don't blame me for not reminding you. Chu Tianqi said expressionlessly and went upstairs again. The two of them didn't breathe heavily until more than a minute after Chu Tianqi left. They were really scared to death just now. Chu Tianqui's momentum is still very strong. It is impossible for him to have no blood on his hands after building such a large group with his own hands. And the oppression of being in a high position for a long time made them both breathless. Second sister, what should I do now? Chu Lingyan asked again. Wait for me, I'll ask Shui. Yang said. Yang, Shui, think about it quickly. What should we do? Yang, it's impossible to let my eldest sister suffer outside, right? Yang, it's almost dark. It's so dangerous for her to be a woman outside, and she has no money. She can't even afford to stay in a hotel. Yang, Shui, think of a way quickly. If you can, I will give you both weekends next week. Chu Lingyan said this with great determination. You know, she looks forward to Saturday and Sunday the most in a week. Now she is willing to pay for her eldest sister. Shui, I don't have any good ideas. Let me think about it. Shui, why don't you go find a friend? Shui, contact a good friend who also knows my eldest sister, and give her 500,000 yuan first. Yang, 500,000 yuan? We can't afford it. Yang, Dad will check our cash flow. We must pay back the money we borrowed from others. Shui, I said you are stupid, and you are really a stupid person. Can't you just owe it first? Shui, if it doesn't work, why don't you just borrow 500,000 yuan and pay back 600,000 yuan? Yang was silent, a little autistic. After calming down, Yang said to Chu Lingyan, let's go find Xiao Yuan. Take her with us and go find the eldest sister. Then borrow 500,000 yuan from her to give to the eldest sister, and then promise to return 600,000 yuan to her, so that the problem will be solved. We have to hurry, it will be dark soon, and the eldest sister must have no place to live now. It's very dangerous. Chu Lingyan was a little happy to hear this. She said, Shui is still smart. Unlike Sister Yang, she only knows to ask you. Chu Lingxue said, ha ha, don't always think about asking Yang. She is stupid to death. Yang snatched, who are you talking about? You are the stupid one. Shui, I'm talking about whoever is stupid tilde. Okay, stop arguing. Let's go quickly. After Yang controlled the body, the two stood up and hurried out. All these conversations were heard by Chu, he who chose to eavesdrop again. He raised a curve at the corner of his mouth and turned to go upstairs. Chapter 17. The two drove to the outside of a luxurious residential area. Chu Lingyan called her good friend Dao Yuan. The phone rang for a long time before it was connected. Yang couldn't wait to say, Xiao Yuan, we have something urgent to talk to you about. Come down quickly. Xiao Yang and I are waiting for you outside your residential area. Dao Yuan, who was speaking on the other end, smiled bitterly, pursed her lips, and her tone was a little hesitant. Yang, I'm sorry. I'm not at home. After saying that, she looked up and looked at her father, Dao Xiaohong, standing in front of her with fear. Dao Xiaohong's tone just now was stern, which made her temporarily cut off contact with everyone in the Chu family. She asked the reason, but Dao Xiaohong refused to tell her, so she had no choice but to do it. Who? Xiao Yuan, you're not at home. Then where are you? Xiao Yang and I will go find you. Yang didn't notice and really thought she was not at home. Yang, my dad told me not to contact you. Otherwise he would ground me. And he would cut off my pocket money. I'm sorry, Yang. Dao Yuan hung up the phone directly after she finished speaking. She looked at Dao Xiaohong again and found that his expression had eased a lot, and his eyes were not as sharp as before. Very good. Well done. But remember, without my consent, you are not allowed to contact the Chu sisters without authorization. Did you hear that? Dao Yuan nodded and said nothing more. But the two people outside the community were dumbfounded. Beep beep. Yang looked at the hung-up phone, and then looked at Chu Lingyan. What? Yang couldn't believe it. She even wondered if there was something wrong with her ears. Sister Yang, Xiao Yuan said her father didn't let her contact us. Chu Lingyan took a deep breath, as if she had guessed something vaguely. Shui, stupid. It's obvious that it was Dad who did this. Shui, he must have guessed our solution, so he asked Uncle Dao to do this. Shui, besides, have you forgotten that Dad has investigated all our friends? Maybe now our friends in Jiang City will not help us. Yang panicked directly. It was completely dark now, and the eldest sister had no place to live. What should we do? Shui, can you think of a solution? We can't let the eldest sister live outside in the bridge hole, right? Yes, Sister Shui. The eldest sister is so beautiful. What if she meets a bad guy? Chu Lingyan also became anxious. Shui took over the control of the body directly. The whole person's temperament suddenly turned cold, and her face was extremely ugly. Don't panic about this. Didn't you say that the eldest sister went with Chu Nan before? Then at least Chu Nan is protecting her, and safety is not a problem for the time being. We mainly solve the problem of money. That is really too much this time. Her eyes were stern. The exquisite and beautiful face was terribly cold now. Although the two of them shared the same body, her expression was completely different from Yang's before, like two different people. Chu Lingyan knew that this was her expression when she was angry. How about this? Why don't we find the eldest sister and Chu Nan first? Let's discuss it after we meet. Shui lowered her eyes and said after thinking for a moment. By the way, we have to inform the third sister and the fifth sister. They probably don't know about this yet. Chu Lingyan nodded and said, I didn't tell them. I only told you. Then tell them about this first. Now that the eldest sister is in trouble, we must help. Chu Lingxue turned on her mobile phone and sent a message to the group of 5 of them. After a few messages, the third sister Chu Lingshuang quickly replied. Chu Lingshuang, my eldest sister was kicked out. Chu Lingshuang, second sister, fourth sister, don't joke, this is not funny. Shui, no, it's true. Then they started a group video and wanted to pull Chu Lingwei in, but were rejected. They were a little speechless when the fifth sister Chu Lingyao didn't answer the phone, but not much. This guy plays around all day. It's normal for him not to look at his phone sometimes. The 3 of them plus Yang were all shocked. It's bad. Nothing will happen, right? Chu Lingyan's face changed, becoming a little impatient and uneasy. Chu Lingshuang was also a little scared. She was weak in character and was afraid that her eldest sister would have an accident. She was a novel editor, and it was easy for her to ask for leave, so she rushed home immediately. Yang, Shui, my sister must have been kidnapped. Yang, why don't you call the police right away? It's still in time. Shui, shut up, idiot. After Shui hung up the video call, she immediately called Chu Lingwei again. This time a call went through. It was 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Chu Lingwei was helping to move things while sweating. She put down the things in her hand panting, looked at the phone and asked, Xiao Xue or Xiaoyan? It's me. The cold tone made Chu Lingwei understand. It's Xiao Xue. You are looking for me because I was kicked out, right? She wiped the fine beads of sweat on her forehead. Yes, sister, please tell us your and Chu Nan's address first. We need to see you first. Shui said. In any case, they will feel relieved when they see that Chu Lingwei is fine. Even if they can't make large expenditures, they can exchange some cash with the boss in the store. Come a few more times. Won't there be money? Yes, sister. Send us the address first, and we will find you. Chu Lingyan also said. Forget it. Dad will definitely not let you see me. I'm doing well with Xiaonan outside. I just found a house. Now I've bought daily necessities and am moving. Okay, that's it. Don't look for me. Dad will be unhappy. After saying that, she hung up the phone without giving them a chance to speak again. Although the girls wanted to say something, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, my eldest sister still has a house to live in. At least it's safe. Chu Lingyan patted her full chest. Her tone also relaxed. Don't be happy too early. Dad will definitely not let my eldest sister go so easily. He must have other means to force my eldest sister to apologize to him and bow her head. Shui spoke again. Yang, and? Yang, how can Dad do this? Yang, that's too much. I need to ask Mom for justice. Shui, shut up. Shui, Dad is very stubborn now. He is determined to make my eldest sister admit her mistakes. Shui, do you think Dad will listen to Mom? Yang gnashed his teeth and got into the car. Go home. Go to sleep. I'm so angry. Dad is so unreasonable. What kind of person can do such a thing? I see it clearly today. He is just a super stubborn and stubborn. It's better if my eldest sister doesn't go home. I'll make him angry. Yang drove the car, cursing. He didn't have the cold aura that Shui had before. He was just like a child who was angry. Sister Yang, you drive slower. I'm scared. Chu Lingyan grabbed the handrail and looked at the road conditions nervously. Shui didn't give in to her and took control directly. The car slowly stabilized. Chapter 18. The two drove back to the Chu family and found that only Chu Lingshuang was waiting for them in the living room. Seeing that they finally came back, she ran up to them with grievance. Chu Lingxue and Chu Lingyan looked at her with red eyes, probably because she had just cried. Xiao Shuang, are you alone at home? Shui asked. Chu Lingshuang's mouth pursed when she heard her sister's question, and tears flowed down uncontrollably. Wu. Third sister, why are you crying? Are you afraid that the eldest sister will have an accident? Chu Lingyan stepped forward and held her hand, feeling a little helpless. This third sister is good in everything. She has a good personality and speaks softly, and she has always been timid, just like the fifth sister. If she is frightened or scolded by someone, she will cry non-stop. Someone must comfort her for a long time before she gets better, Otherwise she will cry endlessly, and the cry is simply sad and tearful. Chu Lingshuang shook her head with tears in her eyes, and then nodded. This made Chu Lingyan feel helpless. Third sister, what do you mean by shaking your head and nodding? The three of them sat down, and Chu Lingshuang sobbed for a long time before she could speak normally. I just came back and asked my father what happened to my eldest sister. As a result, he scolded me without knowing the truth. Woo-ah. Chu Lingshuang cried again. Shui and Chu Lingyan both rolled their eyes. Shui gave Chu Lingyan a look of encouragement and went straight upstairs. Chu Lingyan's eyes were almost rolling up to the sky, but she had no choice but to stroke her back and comfort her sister in a gentle voice. Finally, Chu Lingshuang buried her head in her chest and burst into tears. This third sister is really made of water. She keeps crying and her chest is wet. Chu Lingyan gently helped her smooth her hair. On the second floor, Chu Lingxue did not return to her bedroom. Instead, she went to Chu Tianqui's room and eavesdropped at the door for a while. Shui, there's no movement in the room. Dad is not at home. Yang, then where did he go? Yang, I know. He must have gone to trouble my eldest sister. Shui, don't jump to conclusions. Maybe not. Chu Lingshue's eyes showed an intriguing smile. Yang, you mean? The woman before. Yang's tone was surprised and a little angry. Shui, HMPH, that's probably the case. Yang, how could this damn bastard do this? Yang, he just pissed off my eldest sister and left. It would be fine if he didn't go looking for her. But now he's going out to look for a mistress. Shui, Mom still trusts Dad. Shui, forget it. Let's just keep this to ourselves. It won't do anybody any good to tell anyone. Yang, but I'm so unwilling. Dad was so mean today. I really want to expose him. Yang's voice was gnashing with anger. Yang, by the way, where's Xiaohe? Shui, he's not here either. He should be out playing, right? Yang, okay, let's talk about it tomorrow. Shui, okay, don't worry about it. Go play. It's your time. Yang, okay. When it came to the next day, Chu Nan was awakened by the alarm. He sat up sleepily, stretched his waist, and subconsciously looked at the bed next to him. WDF. What is this? A benefit early in the morning. In an instant, he lost all his sleepiness. Chu Lingwei kicked the quilt aside, pulled down the neckline of a silky black nightgown, and her delicate collarbone exuded temptation at all times. And her slender, white, and fat-free legs were exposed to the air, making people want to try their hands. Boom! Chu Lingwei heard his voice and opened her eyes in a daze. She rubbed her eyes and looked around, remembering that she was in a rental house. But suddenly she found that Chu Nan was staring at her intently. Her Adam's apple moved unconsciously twice. She understood it all at once, and pulled the quilt over her body in shame and anger, hiding her head in the quilt, and shouted in a muffled voice, "Pervert." I was wondering how I heard Chu Nan's inner voice. It turns out that this little pervert saw my body. Chu Nan pretended to be fine, and went to the bathroom to brush his teeth and wash up. It's really life-threatening. Who can stand this? Chu Lingwei was suffocating in the quilt. The corners of her mouth twitched unconsciously, and she quickly got up and put on her clothes, otherwise she would be embarrassed again later. Chu Nan washed his face several times before he suppressed his anger, and he complained in his heart. This is not the last life. Although he has no wife or girlfriend, but he is still a rich man. People. If I want to, I will go to a nightclub or bar, and then take a girl home to have fun all night. But now it is impossible. With Chu Lingwei around, I can't do many things. Oh, alas, I don't know when Chu Lingwei will return to the Chu family. When she returns to the Chu family, I can be free and unrestrained. Don't let your brothers suffer in hardship, so that it will not be in vain to come to this world. Chu Lingwei paused while changing clothes. Free and unrestrained. No, as the eldest sister, I have to keep an eye on him, so that he won't fall in the future. Chu Lingwei became more determined to stay with Chu Nan. Chu Nan came out of the bathroom and saw Chu Lingwei changing clothes. He turned his head subconsciously, but he still saw a lot of white scenery. What a sin! Why should I take her with me? I can't eat her. and I can't even touch her. I'm torturing myself. Chu Lingwei curled her lips and laughed disdainfully. Snort. What are you laughing at? Ah ha ha. Chu Lingwei was amused and laughed so hard that she was shaking. Damn, is she sick? Chunan turned around and looked at her important parts fiercely. Chu Lingwei was only wearing a suspender and a pair of leggings. Then he ran out of the door quickly. Ha ha, hey. Chu Lingwei's laughter stopped abruptly. Why are you running? Am I so scary? Then she didn't think much about it, continued to put on her clothes, and then went to the bathroom to wash up. Not long after, the door opened. Chunan came back with 2 buns and a cup of soy milk. Eat it, miss. We can only eat this because of our limited conditions. Don't say I treat you badly when you return to the Chu family. I don't want to be blamed by your good sisters. Throwing the food on the table, Chunan picked up his school bag and walked out. Chu Lingwei looked at his back and smiled. Your stinky brother is quite caring. Why didn't I notice it before? Thinking of this, she lowered her eyes, and the guilt and discomfort from yesterday surged up again. Wiped the water stains on her face, and then looked around. No skincare products. Alas, nothing. I'll go find a job later. Pick up the buns on the table. Just as she was about to eat, a 50 yuan bill floated down from the bottom of the plastic bag. After standing for a long time, she squatted down to pick up the 50 yuan and put it in her pocket. Took a bite of the bun. Well, it's a custard bun. But why does it seem a little salty? Chapter 19. Chu Lingwei took a bus to the Jiancheng Talent Market. Chunan went to school leisurely. Jiangda was very close to the house he rented. It took more than 10 minutes to walk there. When he arrived at the school gate and entered the door, Chunan suddenly smelled a fragrant breeze. His arm was pulled to the side. He looked back and was surprised to find that it was Chu Lingyan who was pulling him. Chu Lingyan raised her head slightly, raised her eyebrows, and pulled Chunan's arm to the side. Her steps were hurried, and her high heels made a click sound on the ground. Hey, what are you doing? Chunan shook his hand away and wiped his hand in disgust. He didn't like the woman in front of him, let alone saying that he skipped class for no reason yesterday. Just based on the memory of her bullying him, he didn't like this woman. Don't be fooled by her delicate features, bright eyes, and white teeth. She still exudes youthful vibes at the age of 25. She folded her hands in front of her chest, raised her chin slightly, and her eyes showed a hint of arrogance. Chunan knew that she was a very arrogant little princess. She would basically accept any kindness he showed her and think it was appreciation. But she seemed to have never really learned the meaning of the word appreciation. The book said, when a person appreciates, it means that he or she realizes and recognizes the kindness of others and has a certain gratitude in his heart. But Chu Lingyan never felt grateful to him. She just thought it was natural. In her eyes, Chunan should treat her well. Chunan, where did you take my eldest sister? Chu Lingyan wanted to talk nicely, but he shook her like this, and her temper came up. What do you care about me? Chunan looked at Chu Lingyan with disdain and walked forward. Chu Lingyan looked at his back, her face full of disbelief. Why does this bastard seem to have become a different person? He's so cold to me, as if I owed him money. Chunan, come back. Tell me where my eldest sister is now. We didn't find her yesterday, and everyone is worried about her. Chu Lingyan grabbed Chunan's arm again, not letting him go. Chu Lingyan, are you sure you want to tug at the school gate like this? Aren't you afraid that I will be mistaken for your boyfriend again? Chunan rolled his eyes secretly, then turned around and said. He also took her hand off. You! Chu Lingyan's chest was heaving with anger. Did you hide my eldest sister? Ha! Chunan pointed at himself. I hid her. Come on, she was pestering me at the time. Do you understand? I asked her to leave, but she didn't leave. What could I do? Chunan was really angry and laughed. Damn, if she hadn't cried, made a scene, and threatened to hang herself, I wouldn't have bothered to take her in. This Chu family is really bad. Chu Lingyan was stunned. Chunan, what did you say? What about hanging yourself? She asked in confusion. Did he just say anything? No. Is it the abdominal opening that's been popular on the internet recently? What about hanging yourself? Chu Lingyan, are you okay? Psycho. Chunan didn't want to pay attention to her and walked into the school. If you don't go to class, you'll be called at 8 a.m. TSK. Chu Lingwei's ears didn't work well yesterday, and now Chu Lingyan is the same. But, it's none of my business. Why should I care about them now that I've left the Chu family? Chu Lingyan heard this voice again and looked at his back in shock. Is this his inner voice? Isn't this too bizarre? She was so shocked that she even forgot to ask Chu Lingwei's whereabouts, and just stood there blankly looking at Chu Nan. This scene was captured by a classmate holding a SLR. Hey, this explosive news will probably get a lot of traffic. He looked at the photos in the camera happily. Let me think about it, and then I'll give it a title. I got it. It's called Shocking. After the beautiful teacher of the Chinese department of Jianda broke up, she became a husband-waiting stone. This title is definitely eye-catching. He quickly transferred the photos to his mobile phone. Many of them were photos of her and Chu Nan pulling each other. The last photo was her looking at Chu Nan's back with a dazed look, and her appearance was so charming and lovable. He quickly posted a post on the Jianda forum and uploaded all the photos. Wait for good news. In the computer room, Chu Nan turned on the computer. He stretched his neck to look at Wang Yu, who was talking on the podium, and then lowered his head. He searched for the website and found the word Shi Hongsha web version. After logging in, he clicked into the writers area and the workbench. He took a look at the word count and found that it was already more than 10,000 words. He rubbed his palms and looked around. He found that the students were all listening attentively or typing various codes. There was only Wang Yu's voice in the classroom and the crackling sound of typing on the keyboard. He calmed down and started typing. Crackling. Crackling. He quickly entered a state of ecstasy, typing very fast, and could type more than 100 words in about 1 minute. Maybe his movements were too loud, and many people cast curious eyes at him. Wang Yu just glanced at it lightly and didn't say anything. Yesterday's Chu Lingyan was deeply engraved in his heart. Both of them have the surname Chu. Maybe there is any relationship? Continue the lecture. But Sun Yun, who was standing next to Chu Nan, was stunned. Sun Yun was the original body's good friend. The two knew each other in high school, and his family was also poor. He was also relatively thin and had been malnourished for a long time. In order to make money, the original body and Sun Yun worked part-time together, so they had a very good relationship. Sun Yun looked at Chu Nan in surprise and asked, Chu Nan, what are you doing? Chu Nan didn't say anything. He simply blocked out all the sounds around him. He was addicted to typing and couldn't extricate himself. He also reviewed the novel while typing. Now he was about to write the chapter about breaking off the engagement. Seeing that Chu Nan didn't say anything, Sun Yun simply stopped listening to what the teacher was saying. He leaned over and watched carefully. After watching for a while, he knew that Chu Nan was writing a novel. But the more he watched, the more attractive the content became. He just tilted his head and stared at the newly typed lines. Time passed by minute. A 40-minute class was over. Wang Yu walked out of the class, and the students also quietly waited for the next class to come. No one was noisy. Everyone's quality was still very high. After all, this was a higher education institution. But Chu Nan was still immersed in typing, and the crackling sound of typing was particularly clear in the quiet classroom. The students all looked over curiously. Why is there still someone writing code after class? Some people came forward curiously. They were also attracted by the content. Gradually, everyone gathered behind Chu Nan and quietly watched the novel on the computer. Until the 7th chapter, Xiao Hua said coldly, Miss Nayland, for the sake of the old man, Xiao Hua, advise you a few words, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, don't bully the poor young man. Chapter 20. Wow! When this sentence was typed out, the classmates were all in an uproar. Sun Yun, who was next to Chu Nan, shook Chu Nan's arm excitedly. Chu Nan, brother Nan, you are so awesome. 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West. Don't despise the poor young. This sentence really touched my heart. It makes my blood boil. Brother Nan. Sun Yun's face turned red because of excitement. He is now just like Xiao Hua in the previous chapters. He is looked down upon and excluded everywhere. Just because his family is poor and has no money, he also wants to explode like this. He watched for a long time. Xiao Hua has been very aggrieved. Now he finally exploded. He was also very excited. The classmates also had a heated discussion. Yes, Lan Yangran wants to cancel the engagement. So why bring people from the sect here? Isn't this a clear threat? What? If you don't cancel, I will kill you. How can that be? Even if you discuss it privately, the engagement can be cancelled. Xiao Huahua has been aggrieved for so long, so it's fine if he is aggrieved again. But she just wants to slap Xiao Huahua's father in the face. Chu Nan was shaken awake by Sun Yun, and he stared at the people behind him in amazement. When did you come? How come I didn't notice it at all? Sun Yun patted him on the back and said with a smile, You were so absorbed in writing that I didn't notice it for a moment. Quick! Tell me about the plot later. Chu Nan pushed his hand away and said helplessly, How can I tell you this? Is it worth reading if I tell you? Don't worry, the book will be signed today, and you can read it then. After saying this, the classmates urged him, Hurry up, hurry up, right. Yes, hurry up, I'll give you gifts then. Chu Nan smiled and said while writing, Remember to give me a 5-star rating then. By the way, don't just read without giving gifts. I can't even afford to eat, so I have to rely on you landlords and rich people. The classmates laughed when they heard it. Many of them are second-generation rich, with rich families and excellent education, so they were admitted to Jiang University. No problem. If you can write 10,000 words a day, I'll give you plenty of gifts. Chu Nan, your book will definitely be popular, and you'll be flooded with gifts. That's right. The online articles nowadays are simply unreadable. All of them are bloody articles that make our brains rub on the ground. P.S. The setting of this world is that the entertainment is very bad, so please don't bring it into reality. Everyone was chatting with each other, and soon it was time for class. Sun Yun, this kid, didn't listen to the class at all, and just kept looking at Chu Nan's computer screen. Seeing Xiao Huahua directly backhanded N.A. Lan Yangran, he was so excited that he almost shouted, Awesome! But he was still rational. His hands covered his mouth tightly, and his face was red as he watched him type. Chu Nan glanced at him and found it a little funny. But thinking of himself back then, he was also the same when he saw these, and his blood was boiling. Thinking of these, he smiled at the corner of his mouth and continued to concentrate on typing. Soon, his book exceeded 20,000 words, and he directly initiated a contract application. In an office building in Jiangcheng, Chu Lingshuang sat in an office in the novel department of Tushiro Daily. She was a little absent-minded, looking at a pile of contracted works to be processed. The white jade finger gently slid on the mouse wheel, clicked on a book with a good name, looked at these meaningless introductions and openings with lifeless eyes. After reading 1,000 words of the 20,000-word text, she decisively quit and handed the book to the system editor. Alas, what is this? What the hell does the system ask you to send a girl at the beginning? If you don't send it, you will be forced to erase it. Oh my God, please spare me. Chu Lingshuang sighed with a look of despair. Thinking about her elder sister, she didn't sleep well last night. The reason is that the fifth sister Chu Lingyao came back from a day of wandering and learned that her elder sister was kicked out. She wanted to find her elder sister, but she didn't reply to any messages, and they didn't know where she was. Chu Tianqi, Chu He, and her mother Lin Baozhu were not at home, and she couldn't find a place to vent. She was very scared and fell asleep in the second half of the night. Suddenly, her eyes were attracted by the cover of a novel and the title of the novel, Fighting. Her hand clicked on it unconsciously. She calmed down, entered the working state, and began to watch carefully. The more excited she looked, the more depressed she felt. More than 10 minutes later, she scrolled the mouse wheel again, only to find that she had finished reading. 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, don't despise the poor young man. Chu Lingshuang supported her chin with her hand and began to analyze the value of this book. The plot of the woman regretting the marriage at the beginning and the hero writing a divorce letter was enough to attract people. The future market of this book is absolutely immeasurable. She signed the book immediately and sent a QQ email address. She was not in the mood to find a good contract partner now, and she only wanted the author of this book, Hu Yi, to add her contact information quickly. At the same time, Chu Nan, who was typing, also received the news that he was selected by the editor. He saw that the other party's online name was Yi Shuang Wuhan and added it without thinking too much. Chu Lingshuang received a stranger with the ID, Hu Yi adding him as a friend. Master Tiger, hello, editor. Yi Shuang Wuhan. Master Tiger, you are the author of Do Po, right? Master Tiger, yes. Yi Shuang Wuhan. Okay, send me your outline. Master Tiger, question mark. Chunan was confused. Where the hell do I have an outline? It's all in my head. Yi Shuang Wuhan. Send me the outline so I can give you some suggestions for revisions. Chu Lingshuang thought it was his first time writing a book and didn't understand these, so he kindly explained. Master Tiger, no, I don't have an outline. How can I give it to you? Yi Shuang Wuhan. Huh? Chu Lingshuang really didn't understand. He could write so well, but he didn't have an outline? Is this outrageous? Tiger, really not. Let me tell you this. All the plots are in my head. Yi Shuang Wuhan. No. Write the outline quickly. What if I forget it in my head? Tiger, no. Tiger, what if you copy mine? Who can I cry to? As soon as this sentence came out, Chu Lingshuang looked at the message he sent with disbelief. Yi Shuang Wuhan, me? Image.jpg. Yi Shuang Wuhan. Are you kidding me? I'm a staff member. Can I copy you? Yi Shuang Wuhan. I have professional ethics. Tiger, sorry. Editor, I really don't want to write the outline. I have something to do, so I'll log off first. Chunan closed the chat window with disdain. He knew how valuable this book was. How could such an outline be exposed to others? And even if he offended him, he could just change an account and write another book.